They're moving the goalposts, people. They're moving the goalposts again. Man, there's a lot going on out here today, man. I'll tell you one thing. Trump just spoke in Chicago. Black Journalist Convention. And it feel like, yo, if you ask me, man, I ain't the smartest man in the room. But if you ask me, it seemed like it was kind of blue. It was kind of rigged. Live. I ain't the smartest man in the room. All right. Here we go. Says here, Trump speaks. He's going to speak in about half hour at the rally. BLASTS Kamala Harris for a TWERK fest yesterday. I mean, it got messy yesterday. Let's not act like we don't know what's going on out here, people, man. Kamala Harris had a TWERK fest yesterday. Yeah. And people walking out of her rally, man. So this is the Harrisburg MAGA rally, 7/31, July 31st, which is today. Double tap the screen on the way in the door. This is how I went earlier, man. Let's wait till we get some people up in here. This is a little while ago, a couple of hours ago in Chicago.
Family.
Exactly, and some of them making less than that, maybe $2.
This year's convention is focused on attracting industry leaders, influencers in journalism and media, but also business, government, community organizations, services, arts, entertainment, academia, and more. So they are trying to draw the brightest journalists, the educators of journalism, and marketing professionals. And we're going to throw to Chicago, where it looks like President is about to come out.
For political reporter Kadia Goba. And anchor of the Faulkner Focus and co-host of Outnumbered on Fox News, Harris Faulkner.
Nabj. Mic's on? Hear me? There we go. Test, test, test. Good afternoon, Nabj, and welcome to a conversation with former President Donald Trump. This discussion continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president, and the impact of those policies, especially in Black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush.
Now, let me just tell you this, right? This joint right here was definitely rigged. They had some heavy Democrat up in here, like straight trying to attack my boy and catch him slipping. NoBueno.com. All right? I just don't know why they do this. Donald Trump is used to going live. He's used to dealing with live audiences. Every time y'all try to put this dude in the trick bag, he wiggle himself out of it. Now, I guarantee you, I predict in a little while, he's going to speak about that. You feel me? Because, most people probably think that that's going to gather up some Black votes by going to the Black Journalist Convention. Let's just see how it plays out. It's a very short speech because I guess he was on his way to do his joint in Pennsylvania, so he stopped by here.
Barack Obama and Bill Clinton have attended the Nabj conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. Nabj is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually.
Double tap screen, let's get the lights up.
In September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. Nabj has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access—
This shit was rigged. I'm gonna just keep it real. This shit was rigged. This was some real nasty shit. But I swear to God, I'm glad this man is seasoned and he's seen this before it came.
That feed on social media.
He swerved that shit.
Using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
Okay.
Thank you.
Try to line my boy up.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States.
You hear this? First sentence. She committing treason, y'all. Splash, Lanskeezy, my brother. DMW shot. Salute. The first question. First statement. Let's get this from the door, man. This is going to
be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former.
She's saying that this is the allegations towards him, and she just.
A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true.
Spoiler alert, by the time he's done, they're going to be cheering for him.
You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist.
He attacks all journalists. See how rigged this shit? Yo, man, this is nasty work. Salute, bro.
You've had dinner with a white
Selassie, my brother.
supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago
Salute, bro.
resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters.
Trump speaks at 6 o'clock, probably about 6:15, 6:30, if you know Trump.
To vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a.
Salute, bro. Thanks for pulling up. Who picked yes, Megan Thee Stallion should be twerking at the rally? These questions is rigged, man, especially for the trolls. The trolls love this channel, man. Double tap the screen. It's going to get worse when I put my next question up. It's going to get worse. Trust me when I tell you. Trump speaks in about half hour. Let's go.
Horrible.
Again, this was 2 hours ago. This right here in Chicago.
Manner. First question. You don't even.
Wow. And they get mad at him. They get mad at him.
You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that
he also sat down with Kim Jong-un, you know.
You are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Why should we just trust Kamala for being Black? Well, she got people twerking at her rally, bro. Yo, she had them twerking, bro. And after they finished twerking, guess what happened, y'all? Everybody walked out of that rally. I got the footage of it, yo. I got the footage of it. I'm going to show it right after this.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That's why I like this man. State the obvious.
You say, hello, how are you?
Can't talk to Black females? Why not? Did you not hear the question? What she just said? She just slapped him in the face. First question is a slap. So this is. So you might as well just say this is what Black women do. Instead of giving you a legit question, what they do is start throwing accusations and you know, basically disrespecting you in front of a big crowd. This is the president, ex-president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? He has built up anger. Okay, cool. It seems like you have more built up anger towards him.
Are you with ABC?
Respectfully.
Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here.
It's not a question. It's a slight. It's a disrespect. A question would be what country you come from. You know, stuff like that. This is an attack. This is not a question. This is not. Okay, if you think that this is a question, just wait for the response you get when you personally ask somebody questions that's aimed at them like that, man. You expect to get a good result behind.
Here, in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country.
Tasha, interview had me die laughing. He made her look ignorant in her own profession. Oh, they like, he's too real. He's seen what they was trying to do. Not teenage questions, adult questions. Okay, I got you. Copy.
Done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers.
Mind you, he's answering a question, what have you done for blacks?
And black entrepreneurs. Done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke.
What have you done? What better gesture to black people than investing in the education, huh?
Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know.
Now, thank you. Very rude introduction. He told you 3 solid things he did for black people. I wonder what's her rebuttal.
Exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further.
And she's going to try, and mind you, watch this shit, right? He's trying to answer your question and satisfy what your concerns. Answer your question, satisfy your concern, or the reasoning behind you asking this. She's going to do everything to cut him the fuck off from answering the questions. You know, watch.
I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well,
wow. He just blew them up, yo. Y'all reeled me into this shit. Yo, you know what? This is some sucker shit y'all did, man. And then y'all names is, and yo, this whole shit was a disgrace. Yo, listen, man, don't tell me what the fuck to do over here. All right? I'm hyping one side because it's the truth. This is the truth. He just said it. She not going to deny it. Y'all invited him there because he thought that one of his opponents was going to be here. I didn't even hear that part. So y'all lined him up. All right, copy.
You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort.
Copy. Y'all set my man up. And then you up in here telling me some shit. I don't come over here trying to kick knowledge respectfully, man. We already got enough knowledge over here. Double tap the screen. Get some knowledge of that. Let's get the likes up. If you here from the vertical live or the shorts or some other way, double tap your screen. You're going to see a big ass thumb pop up. And I'm riding on Democrats that act too sensitive over here. You got a legit question, we'll answer it. Don't spam my chat, please.
Why should black voters trust you
He didn't cut off one time. One more time.
after you have used language like that?
well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities.
I'm gonna just let y'all know in the chat, if one of my moderators time you out, they might time you out for 60 seconds, 5 minutes. Me, I'm timing you out for 86,000 seconds, and I'm the most patient one. I'll let you rock, but if you try to disturb what we're trying to do, if you try to paint a narrative after this man just got set up for this dumb shit, and they represent the black people, and they representing the black people. This is supposed to be the y'all so-called black people vote. This is what they trying to get. So this is representative of the black people setting Donald Trump up to come to a rally, making them think that Harris or Biden was going to be there. Come on, bro. And he's still sitting with y'all. He should have bounced. So y'all can have that shit posted, and then later on he could say, yo, listen, man, y'all said Biden or Harris was going to be here. Wasn't nobody. It was crickets over there. All right? So y'all deserve whatever you get after this. For real, for real. And we're going to talk about this more tomorrow, probably.
Cities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala.
Thank you.
I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was
Mr. President,
wrong.
I would love.
Wow, so, and you was late. And you just cleared that up, too. I wasn't late. It was y'all equipment that I can't hear right now. You're going to see the other ladies are complaining about the sound, too. Like, I don't hear him. He's right next to me, and I can't hear a word he's saying.
It's a very nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a
period. And a real man ain't going to address it like that. I ain't unapologetic. That kind of play game. Let's get right to it. So this was type of, shit show y'all running. This is the black vote. Got me up on this ticket. I got a whole rally, my own rally to do in Pennsylvania. We're going to come over there and show y'all some love. This is not on the schedule, but because y'all put so much pressure on me, I pop out. And then y'all line me up for this goofiness, man.
Follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions.
Man, whoever her boyfriend is, he's miserable. She got all that blue on, all that powdered blue. You know what I mean? Look like somebody dipped her in something. You feel me? All that powder blue on, all opinionated, up in the house, probably rolling her neck all day. All day. Just rolling her neck. With them line-up questions. Why you ask the man a real question, man? What? Anybody else would have handled this different. He would have left. Any one of y'all wouldn't even showed up. You wouldn't endorse. You would have put your face in this shit.
Questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans?
Everybody's saying it. Why are you targeting this? Oh.
And those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition?
Thank you. Give me a definition.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define.
Not telling me what it stands for. He's not saying. See, you know what? This is what happens when you got a super high IQ, right? He's not asking you to tell me what it stands for. He's asking you to define it. All right? There's a difference.
Define it for me if you
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris...
You didn't define it. You told me what it stands for. You didn't define what it is, man. That's it. You didn't define what the organization is. You did explain the words. That's all you did. This is a smart dude, man. I'm glad he held his composure and handled this shit the way he did earlier.
Harris is only
2 hours ago, to be exact,
on the ticket because she is a Black woman.
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as...
There we go. You want to act stupid Act stupid. Listen, play stupid games and get stupid prizes in return. Zuki, salute. Tasha, man, they try to corner my boy in.
Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
Oh, she has not always identified as a black woman. Why don't y'all just wake the fuck up? And why is that lie so important for them to keep up? Just might get in chat and let me know, why is that particular lie so important for them to keep up? Huh? Yeah, I hear you, lying felon con man. You know, I hear you. Do you know any other lying felons? Do you know any felons or liars? You let me know. Get in the chat. Double tap the screen because we don't really care about what you're talking about right now.
Respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask.
Serious. She said it with her own mouth. I mean, them pictures is pretty damning too.
Continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you
Major Baltimore, salute.
believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings in that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look,
that was a dope interview. And off the strength of that interview, he gave them this right here. Now, let me just explain to y'all what I'm talking about. Trump was not scheduled to speak here. He agreed to this because he thought Kamala or Biden was going to be there, right? And what happened was they wasn't there. What she did was she pulled up all these other couches with these opinionated black women to target him, you know, instead of just, you know, asking the questions and have it. She tried to blame him for being late when it was really their audio equipment for 35 minutes that didn't work. That's called moving the goalposts. Argentine Rita, salute.
look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on
3 black women up here. Now, the one with the pink, again, gave him an interview recently. It went viral. He agreed to come to this convention that she set up, and this is what they do to him.
us how divided we are as a country.
I know he was like, what the? Like, y'all really tried it? I wonder what his response going to be in a little while.
And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines.
He's smart. He won't say nothing about it. He'll brush it off like a real player that he is. He'll just brush it off, but know that the ones that count seen it, you know?
Of race, along
Real nasty, honestly, man.
the lines of
I'm
gender.
gassing it a little bit, but it was foul. I'm gassing it because it should be gassed because this is a presidential candidate and the ex-president. Same one that fed y'all all that free money. Remember that?
And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
Oh, yeah, we about to have 500 motherfuckers up in here once the speech starts because my boy about to go on. He about to get on fire. Double tap the screen. There's 25 likes. I know I got more than 20. I got 25 wrenches in here. Double tap the screen to get the likes up. Or go to the top right. Hit the 3 dots. That's where the like button is at. We about to get to the bullshit. All right? Right now, the show's just starting. If that music is too loud in the background, don't hesitate to type 3. If it's too loud, I'll turn it down. I'll turn it off. All right? Up until then, we're going to party with Diddy.
You miss me, though. For real.
Yeah, we partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Megan Thee Stallion is twerking at that. Man, I missed that, man. You know, I heard Kamala Harris rallies is the spot to go to where you want to see the Migos. You want to see all that shit. You know what I mean? You go right to Kamala Harris. And they do got some pictures floating around on her. Apparently, she's a GIL.
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had.
I love it. I love it. I love it. He said that black job shit to a black crowd. Oh boy, that boy is on fire. He coming in hot. He said black jobs to a black crowd. That's crazy.
The best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President.
And that's how I classify it. Black job is any job where black people working. Let's keep it real, man. If I said, Mexican job, right? What would y'all think of? Right? When I say black job, what do you think of? What comes up in your mind? Nothing besides a job. Black people work anywhere.
They're taking the employment away from
and everywhere.
Black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16.
You got to separate black people so much to make them understand how does the border thing affect you? How does it affect? What are you doing for us? What are you talking about? I'm doing it for America. Ain't America affecting you? The inflation ain't affecting black people? Inflation, again, for the goofies in the back. Hello? Don't run from this truth. Don't run from this truth. Let me tell you something, right? Inflation means the things that you used to buy last year, it's hard to get the same exact thing this year. You want to know why? Because the price of everything is going up, but yet your pay is still the same. Some of you motherfuckers be jumping hoops to get a dollar raise. God bless your soul. God bless your soul.
Nigga, you gay.
For a dollar. For a dollar. For a buck. A buck. You know what I'm saying? You'll get on your knees and for a buck. That's inflation. Okay? You want gas to go back down, food to go back down? We got to stimulate the economy. We got to drill, baby. Drill. You know what I'm talking about? That part.
17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was
statistically
there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our
likes up. People getting timed out left and right. What jobs can legal immigrants get? It's not a doctor or a lawyer. Very inappropriate. Heather says, what part? Obama gave us 100 stimulus when he was in office. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. They coming in hot. Carrie Thomas says, you're dumber than the orange food. You nasty. See how nasty they are? OG Rob, salute, man. They are so nasty in the chat. Shame on you, man. You need to take your ass to church. Because if you call yourself a Democrat and up in here and spewing all that hate, conservatives just don't do that. It's just not it's not a conservative style to go to somebody's chat and just bomb, Salute hustle, man. I see you, bro. Illegals getting all the Amazon delivery jobs. Work ID, Democrat slave labor force. Kenny's in the building. Gemini shit. Let's go. Biden gave $700 to all those people whose homes burnt down in Maui.
I ain't never seen a big boy grill on the roof. Never seen a big boy grill on the roof. I ain't never seen a big boy grill.
They set him up for this. All right? And it's nasty. Zadie, so nasty and so rude, in the famous words of Nene Leakes. Salute, Ratchet. What was $700 going to do, JNC? Well, it would. Listen, let me tell you something. It beats a blank. How about that? During COVID, y'all motherfuckers was out here going crazy over toilet paper. You think I don't remember? Oh, yeah. Niggas was fear-mongering like a motherfucker. They going to run out of toilet paper. They going to run out of, what was it? Hand sanitizer. All that fake news. All that China virus. Y'all remember that? Y'all don't remember that? Y'all scared to death. You motherfuckers was going to the store buying all the dry beans, water. Y'all was wild, especially in New York. Y'all was going crazy, bro. I'm in Ohio I'm eating popcorn watching y'all go crazy. And then I go live and they like, Mac, put a mask on. check this out. Fuck your mask. Fuck your vaccination. And fuck your couch. Yeah, like that part, like what the fuck you mean? Like that's fear mongering, bro. At its finest. Triggered that 4G off. Oh boy. And everybody that health was already compromised, they went down. Boom, they said COVID. Don't y'all know y'all going to get vaccinated for the common flu right now? They've been hustling us forever, man. They've been hustling us forever. You know what they hustle? You know what the biggest hustle they sold us, bro? To y'all, to us black people, was that we were slaves. I would say slavery is a choice, but Kanye said it already. Wasn't a choice. But it's funny how they marked that nasty era off to the people that were trying to stop it. Imagine that shit. Imagine 100 years from now, the story is that the Black Panthers, right, were actually white supremacists. The Black Panthers were actually white supremacists. Oh, that'll hit in the news, bro. Think about that. 100 years from now, they're teaching your great-great-grandkid that the Black Panthers were actually not the people fighting for the black people, but the people that was enslaving them. People that was, matter of fact, the Black Panthers was actually the KKK. They was lynching people and all that. Imagine if they sold it like that. Well, that's how they sold us that democracy, that Democrat shit. They sold us that. They told us that it was the Republicans that did all that. The conservatives did that, y'all. The ones that lynched people and all that shit that used to trigger us when we was young. If you were smart enough to be triggered, or if you was, empathetic enough to be triggered. Because this is not a brain thing. This is a feeling thing. This is this is how they're catching you. They're catching you with your emotions. And I'm starting to think that them slavery books and that history that they've been teaching us with the Board of Education forever has been a part of a bigger thing. Because, how is it ironic that the schools look like the hospitals? The hospitals look exactly like colleges. Colleges look like the military. The military looks like jail. I know, because I've been in every one of them facilities, man. I know what it looked like.
Nigga, you gay.
It's a fact, though. Anyway, I ain't gonna talk that. Let's just see some more of this setup.
Our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from...
They say that he's trying to stop the unions. Meanwhile, he's listing concerns about how they doing the union. Let me give y'all a fun fact. When Trump was in office, the unions were powerful. When Trump was in office, the union was popping. Nobody was complaining. Everybody was getting their money. Even when COVID hit, when COVID was really bad, the unions covered a lot of people. You feel me? The unions fought for the people, and the government didn't give them no resistance. They gave them mad money. Everybody got bread. Everybody got bread. Everybody got bread. Everybody got bread. Let me show you how it works. To the people in the back, this is how it go, right? How much those motherfuckers, been making in our country and they ain't paying nothing? What? And they sending illegal shit over here, and they don't want us over there. That means we ain't getting shit from them. Trump, how much we gonna save if we cut these motherfuckers off? 50 billion. All right, take that 50 billion, send that shit to Detroit. Let's turn Detroit back up. All right, how much them people owe us? 100% tariffs. Get what we made over there? 50 billion. All right, check it out. Idaho. Now Idaho potatoes. Let's get that popping. Let's get America popping. Let's put the jobs back over here. Let's stop spending flesh and money in all these wars that y'all don't know nothing about. Y'all don't even know why we fighting. And y'all don't know how we fighting. Y'all don't know what they doing. You know some of the weird shit I heard that they was doing in Vietnam and all these wars, what they was doing to the native people there. You know what I mean? Mixed babies came back. Yeah, America, let me explain something. We need to stay away from wars. How about that? How about a president that say, you know what? We don't feel like fighting. Let's go sit these people down. Y'all ain't see nobody besides Sean Penn and fucking Dennis Rodman get next to Kim Jong-un. God's work. Who else could have got next to him and had him cracking up, die laughing? I'm talking about Kim Jong-un was so happy when Trump sat down with him, you probably thought he was hot.
30, I just popped that perk 30.
Let's have this conversation. Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up real quick. All right? And if you're sensitive, man, I'm going to let you know.
Between your shower and this, you need this. FDS Feminine Deodorant Spray has powder to absorb moisture. Use it every day to feel fresh, dry, and confident. FDS. Make it your second deodorant.
You're in the right place. Double tap that screen to get the likes up. They say, why you tell them to hit the like, man? Just play the content. Well, go play a game with somebody else, because this ain't the place to be playing. Ain't nobody playing. Nobody's playing out here, man. I mean, we having the conversation, and we always get back to this conversation. And guess what? Every time y'all go for those people over there lying and saying what they're going to do for you, we end up with nothing. Except for articles about police beating people up. Let's keep it real.
Mental institutions, from prisons, from jails, they're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers.
I got so much to say about my boy White Chocolate here. Now check this out. Let's just show you how it goes in real life, right? Y'all don't believe me? Look at the people walk out of Miss Harris joint. This is not me knocking her down. This is people picking up on what's going on. Check it out.
This race is shifting.
Oh, this video right here is about to blow your mind, right? I want everybody to get the likes up. Let's get the likes past 100 for me real quick, right? This is the Black conservative perspective, and I'm telling you right now, if you sensitive, please exit left. This is a trigger warning, right? Because there's a lot of truth here.
And there are signs that Donald Trump is feeling it. You may have noticed. So last week, you may have seen.
It's called the governor's expedited pardon. Look it up. All right.
He pulled out of the debate in September he had previously agreed to.
And she hates Generation Z, but she acts like she's still in college. Oh, she act like a loose joint. No disrespect to the vice president of the United States, but she does act like a little ratchet, man. Let's keep it real, man. Share this video for me, man. Everybody, if you rocking with me and you enjoying the content, I'm only going to ask you this one favor outside of hitting the like button or eat these nuts. Share the video to your Facebook right now. Share it to your Instagram, or just push it to somebody that you know will enjoy this conversation. Trump is about to speak in a couple of minutes. I'm eyeing it on the side. I got another screen up. So as soon as he go live, I'm gonna press the button. All right, and we can get back to what he did in Chicago in a little while, because I think that the game is rigged and they try to play him. Salute to my motherfucking brother Tavon. Salute.
Oh, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about that. Here's the funny thing about that. So he won't debate.
Check it out.
And in the words of my brother Takeoff, let me get a Kamala.
Got Quavo, who didn't take his partner, and also I think his nephew got killed. His name was Takeoff. He got shot in this, he got killed at a dice game. He's a rapper. I like it. I like the Migos music, but this is who's speaking right now.
So it's only right in the birthplace of the culture. It's also the same place to launch the first African-American woman to run for president.
Very good point. Stallions are B1 in the house. Salute. Male horses, there are 0 female stallions. Why would Megan Thee Stallion name herself after a male horse? Probably because she wear panties with the pee-pee holes in it. I don't know.
Yeah, we changing the culture again.
Meanwhile,
I want to pick up on one point where she talks about this is a people power campaign. That's pretty funny. She's not gotten a single vote from a person in 2020 or a single vote for president in 2024. And she was coronated. There wasn't even in a primary for her to be elected. So it's like the People's Republic of China. The Communist Party said, this is who we're going to support. And now the people.
I hear you, Kobe. Grab him by the coochie.
People must love her.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about what I thought was supposed to be a political rally where I would actually hear some policy from President.
I mean, the facts is the facts, though, Wendy. Stallion is a male horse, man. Or stag. I think they used to call it. I thought it was stag. She built like a linebacker. Who the hell said that? Megan, the linebacker is a stallion. Trust me.
Candidate Kamala Harris. However, it seems as if it was actually a rap concert, a twerk show to be more specific, because that is what happened at this rap.
Word. She's not even black. I mean, we played her saying it herself. We played, and then furthermore, Trump has been around them in the political field for a long time. He's saying that we never knew, she never identified as a black woman. We always thought that she was Indian.
Rally for Kamala Harris in Atlanta, which, Kamala Harris is there trying to pander for black votes, and they're pandering in the worst way possible. I believe that if you're black, you should be offended by how Democrats are trying to earn your vote, okay? Because this is what they think about black people, right? This is what they think.
Thank you. This is what I'm saying. I would have so much more. My conversation will be this short if they brought viable people, if they did some things that, I'm not saying that this is, there's not a certain amount of entertainment involved with this. I'm saying that what people are already saying, so you have to play this smarter than this. You know what I mean? I don't think that this is the action that makes us as look good as black people. Just like setting the president up earlier to think that he was going to be speaking to Kamala and this guy Biden. I think and then coming under the national, not the national, but basically the Black Journalist Convention, and naming yourself that, it's a reflection of black people. Just like, having these people twerk on your stage is a reflection of black people.
Yeah, so they have Meg Thee Stallion doing a performance. Okay, now she is twerking, right? Twerking. Now, again, I'm not entirely sure what policies, okay, what are people actually learning from this? Like, what are people getting out of this? Okay, look at all these awkward white people here that are
all blue, got the colors on.
Are trying not to look at her butt as she twerks for the crowd, okay? But this is what is happening at Kamala Harris's rally, okay? I'm not sure how much voters are learning, considering how she is a coup candidate and people have the right to know, okay, what does she actually believe? But again, apparently booty is more important than learning about Kamala Harris's policy positions, okay? So this is what is happening, right? This is how they're trying to appeal to black people. And what I find to be hilarious about this is the fact that Kamala Harris probably does see somebody like Meg Thee Stallion as her spirit.
That's a good way to look at it. She is serving the country.
Spirit animal, so to speak, because Meg Thee Stallion promotes the same behaviors that Kamala Harris allegedly participated in order to get into positions of power, right? So again, this is what they're pushing on women, okay? Just act like that.
Well, policies, Kobe. He just finished the name. I mean, I don't know if y'all be doing this on purpose or whatever, but inflation is policy matter. Education is a policy matter. Stuff like that. Those are policy matters. Or are you talking about specifically black policy? Because I could talk about that too. He just named, a bunch of stuff a little while ago.
This, right? They're trying to get the 304 vote. The same way that they kind of did in 2022. They had a bunch of these young women come out and vote to save their rights, okay? Even though, again, what they're trying to save is not actually really a right. But this is who they're appealing to, right? The 304. I'm just waiting for the mainstream liberal media to get upset about this and how Democrats are essentially degrading women by promoting this type of degeneracy. The same way they got mad about J.D. Vance talking about family and trying to promote the importance of family. Again, this is the country we're living in, folks, where the media thinks it's controversial to promote the family, but it's not controversial to have rappers who are essentially glorified strippers perform at political concerts, right? To appeal to women via sex, and degeneracy. That's not controversial, right? Let's not talk about that. Let's not get upset about that. Let's get upset about the guy that wants to promote families, okay, and traditional values. I just want you guys to understand, this is not on accident. This is on purpose, because remember, back in 2020, the Democrats were trying to appeal to black people in very similar ways. Everybody remembers getting your booty to the polls.
Black lives don't matter to some of our current elected officials. If they matter to you, then don't let other people decide.
Not good. She bad though.
Who's gonna run your community? Get your booty to the poll. Get your booty to the poll. Get your booty to the poll.
So they talking about POLE, I'm assuming.
Again, I just want to remind people, this is what they think about black people. This is what they think appeals to you. This is how you can get the black vote, okay? Degeneracy, sex, naked women, strippers, booty, okay? Why is it that Democrats only do this with black folks, right? You notice that they don't do this with the whites. They don't do this with the Asians. They don't do this with the Hispanics. And don't get me wrong. Look, listen, there's some of this in the Hispanic, the Latino community as well, too. Let's keep it 100. But that's not how they appeal to them, right? They don't use degeneracy to appeal to them, okay? They might start speaking Spanish and talking about breakfast tacos.
Oh.
But we can't get
Who remembers that?
those things on our own. Raul helped build this organization with the understanding that the diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of
the Billy
Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio, is your strength.
Right? But they don't do this. They don't.
That's well, she says, Nikki says, defendant Amber Rose is wild. Hold that L too. I want to address this. Voters care about having health care and benefits. Trump offers neither. Well, I looked at Trump care versus Obamacare, and I'll recommend everybody to go, and because Trump care is Obamacare on crack. It covers everything Trump care, Obamacare covers, plus more things that affect things that help us more.
They don't do this. So
go look at the side by side with the Trump care proposition, you know what I mean, proposal versus Obamacare. You know, they got it side by side. It's all over the internet.
Again, you know, I'm not entirely sure why is it that black folks accept this type of pandering.
There's no Trump care. I'm talking about the proposal for it. I'm talking about the things that he was proposing versus Obama.
From Democrats. Because, again, they're telling you that.
Oh, God. I hate when they say that, because every time I say something about Trump, they give me all these problems. When I say Trump care, they say no. And then I show them, and then they be like, oh, I didn't know that existed. Of course you didn't know it existed. You're just talking. You're just running your mouth.
That, hey, we don't think that you're very smart. Okay, we don't think that you're very educated. We think
proposing. Hey, knock all of them down. I don't even want to see them no more. Excuse me. Let me stop. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to do that to y'all. I'm going to let y'all say whatever y'all want and let the moderators deal with y'all. I'm going to just do my show. All right? No more, because there's just too many of y'all in here right now. And my man's about to speak, and I'm not going to have y'all interrupting the conversation.
Think that we should appeal to you via things that have nothing to do with actual policy. Okay? But again, this is what it is. It is a Trojan horse, right? That's what it's designed. It's designed to sell you something that, hey, you really don't know about, okay? And once you open it up and you see exactly what you're getting, then all of a sudden people are shocked to find out that, hey, this so-called pro-black agenda, this so-called black politician, their policies aren't necessarily good for us, right? But hey, you know, it is what it is. This is what Democrats do. But, you know, there was a little bit of policy during this speech in which she tried to attack Trump on immigration by essentially saying that he didn't do the job that she's going to do, even though she's technically in an office as vice president. She was border czar, and she could not get the job done of securing the border and solving the problem. But yet she wants you to believe that she's going to get it done if you elect her, even though, again, she's already border czar and she's already in office as vice president. Take a look.
Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been talking a big game about securing our border, but he does not walk the walk. Or as my friend Quavo would say, he does not walk it like he talks it.
Little ratchet. I bet she a freak. You can't have a president that you want to smash out though, for real, for real.
Our administration worked on the most significant border security bill in decades. Some of the most conservative Republicans in Washington, D.C. supported the bill. Even the Border Patrol endorsed it. It was all set to pass. But at the last minute, Trump directed his allies in the Senate to vote it down. Right. He tanked the bipartisan deal because he thought it would help him win an election. Which goes to show Donald Trump.
Oh man, they coming in hot. That boy, no reply, just went hit hard. He's under the belt right now. She has the nicest black girl hair. Oh, black girl hair. You're gonna get canceled for that. I've never seen it flow like Indian Ocean. Man, it's poetry.
Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. And when I am president, I will work to actually solve the problem.
That's what the news is telling you. That's what the fake news is telling us, Billy. They saying that there's matter of followers. I'm gonna show you these people walking out of this thing here. And newsflash, let me just let the other people know, right? After a Trump rally is over, the Trump rally is not over. Nobody's walking out of a Trump rally. They actually staying after the man is gone, and that's a fact.
So here is my pledge.
Tailgate party at that Trump joint.
To you. As president, I will bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump killed, and I will sign it into law.
Tell your mother to shut up, okay?
And show Donald Trump what real leadership looks like.
Yeah, so notice how Kamala Harris is talking to her crowd of uneducated voters, telling them.
You said they act like they're at church. That's what cults do. So you're saying the people that follow Donald Trump is a part of a cult, right? Yeah, I've heard it all, man. But look, watch this. This right here, this ain't going to go down good. Trust me, because it's your own people that's going to do it to look.
That, hey, guys, I'm not super soft on immigration. All the things that you guys have probably heard on the internet from these conservative channels showing highlights of me advocating for extremist positions, like, for example, making it not illegal to cross the border illegally. Or
big bro, you just capped on New Jersey. 1,000 was leaving Trump rally. Go do your fact check. Thousands was leaving. I'm assuming you're trying to tell me that thousands were leaving Trump rally. Big bro, copy. It's okay, but we're not talking about who left his rally. We're talking about, actually, right now, we're talking about Kamala Harris's rally. If you got that video, you could just hit in. I'll play it. I'll play it so everybody can see how thousands walked out on Trump's rally, right?
Or giving free healthcare.
Probably because they trying to kill him. Thousands would be walking out of a Trump rally. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I've been to plenty Trump rallies and I ain't never seen no thousands of people walking out. I don't know what you're talking about.
Care, aka resources to illegal immigrants. No. I am going to support a bill that doesn't secure the border, right? Because again, anybody educated on this issue knows that that bill that she's talking about doesn't actually secure the border. The only bill that secures the border is the Republican Secure the Border Act. If Kamala Harris is not on board with that bill, then she's not on board with securing the border. Notice how
Chilling with Love up in here, man. Chilling with Love is over there doing the holy work of God. Please drop your channel in the chat, right? She knows what it is. She's out here doing her work. You know what I'm saying? And I pay attention to the real ones, the ones that get it. All right. Do more commentary during your joint, because I'll tell you why later. But add your opinion into those videos. Stop them videos and make those people recognize who you is, so they understand your opinion as opposed to just understanding the news or what's going on. You stop them motherfuckers in their tracks. All right. That's Chilling with Love. Go ahead over there. They always making stuff up. Why would they go there to walk out? Yeah.
She doesn't talk about any policy specifics. Like, for example, fixing the asylum seeking system.
And that's what they say that Trump doesn't do. They say Trump doesn't attack policy. This man right here is saying that that's what Kamala is not doing.
Like, for example, fixing the asylum seeking system, not allowing people to abuse it. Okay. She doesn't talk about doing more mass deportations, getting rid of the illegals that we already have. Okay. She does not talk about sending the military to the border or actually having more troops on the border or finishing the wall or anything that might deter illegal immigration. Okay. Because at the end of the day, she has no intentions on trying to stop the flow of mass illegals into the country, because that's what she supports, right? Ultimately, she wants to give them amnesty and work authorization permits, which is exactly what will happen probably before Biden's out of office, to be quite honest with you. But it most certainly will happen if Kamala Harris is elected president. This is exactly what they're going to do. It is a Trojan horse. Okay. They are going to allow illegals into the country in mass numbers. And guess where they're going to go? They're going to go to places like Atlanta, Chicago, New York, in these black communities. But hey, you know, if you listen to Kamala, though, you listen to some of her supporters, oh, you must vote for her because she's black, right? Even though she has a history of policies, supporting policies that, hey, I don't think are very good for black people or the country as a whole. Okay. But the truth, unfortunately, is that in this country, half the country doesn't really care about policy.
Boom.
And we have maybe some evidence of that because Savannah Hernandez is reporting that people were leaving the rally just 10 minutes into Kamala Harris.
So now they saying that's what they do at Trump rallies. No.
His speech, almost as if they were only there for the concert version of it, to see Megan Thee Stallion shake her butt on stage and to listen to her trashy music. They were there for that more.
Shaking the butt is crazy.
Than Kamala, because you would think that if you were there for Kamala, nobody would be walking out doing the speech. Again, this is not a great sign for somebody whose campaign is supposed to be new and exciting and so much momentum, and everybody's so enamored by Kamala and she's so great and black people love her and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not sure exactly why we're seeing this.
Hey guys, this is Savannah reporting to you from inside of Kamala Harris's rally, which just wrapped up. Now you guys saw all of the footage and there was actually a lot of energy for her in the building. Almost every single seat was filled, not every single one. But many people are questioning, well, were they here to see Kamala or were they here because Quavo, Meg Thee Stallion were here and it was essentially a giant concert? And I'm going to be honest, guys, people started leaving about 15 minutes after she started speaking, which is kind of notable to me because, you know, this is her first presidential rally in Georgia. And so I thought people would have wanted to listen to her. And then also, she really only spoke for about 30 minutes, I would say. So it was a very, very short speech, but people couldn't make it through it. I kept seeing streams of people continuously leave. And I was like, well, you know, maybe it's the one-off person. But then I started seeing people leave from every single level. And I was like, okay, I mean, maybe there is a little bit of truth to people having come here to see the performances. I don't know how many were here just for Kamala. However, that being said, there was a lot of energy, and you guys saw the clips, the performances. There's a lot going on here in Georgia for Kamala. So just my update from.
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that. Okay. Now, what you have here is Savannah Hernandez on the ground doing good work. Credit to her for this footage, okay, and we actually have some proof and evidence of people walking out doing Kamala Harris's speech.
Empty.
Are you ready to get to work?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It's the white people walking out.
So again, apparently people were walking out. You know, hey, what conclusion can you come to from that? I'm not entirely sure, but I think it is reasonable to suggest that some people were there.
Anyway, let's finish looking at this rigged ass. Is he live yet? Let me see. Nah, he not live. I'm still on this channel. He not live. He about to be live. They saying this rigged ass black journalist convention. Black journalist conviction. That's what I call it. Black journalist conviction. Sick. I'm ashamed of this shit right
gang
here.
members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with Black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different.
Watch this attack, y'all.
We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts, and this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit.
Superdog in the building. Salute, man. Salute, man. Jesus is Lord. Salute to you. You are not reading between the lie. I read only it more. What the fuck, man? Let me just play the content. I'm back.
Money Management International recently released data.
And my comments let me know ASAP what side you on. She is corrupt and bought out. Just like we got Stank twerking at the presidential campaign, we got Stank who just be twerking and everybody chat. Ooh, boy.
From its mid-year.
What is that about? She is corrupt and bought out and buying fake subs. All of this evil. Oh, Trump embarrassed himself. Sorry to spoil it. He didn't embarrass himself. I seen exactly what you seen. Your perspective is different from mine. He didn't embarrass himself. He was getting set up, like I told you. Well, how would you feel if you thought that you was going to meet up with somebody, to talk to somebody, and really it was a setup? He did what he was supposed to do. He gave him nothing. He bounced, and he's on his way to, or he's at his rally right now. You know?
Your analysis that
I'm keeping my eye on it over here. Let me see. One second. Puto. Nah, he ain't started yet. Ain't started yet. They there though.
that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single Black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the Black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream.
What are we going to do with the black people? Are your interest rates messed up? Are you broke?
Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was.
If he's saying that the problem is inflation, and this is why the money is so low in the hood, let's just so speak, right? Then we need to do something about inflation. It makes perfect sense.
The black community probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him.
Thank you. He's blew them up. They tried to shoot my ear off and all that. I went up in the polls, and you said, oh, I'm sick. I'm out of here.
That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is also impacting Black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, and unarmed
Oh, man. See, this is where it started going bad, though.
Black woman was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy
He was put up to ask this question, and that's sad because, baby girl, you could have asked this man anything that you wanted. And you got to remember that, and let me put some respect on Kamala. You know, I know we like trolling and stuff, but let me put some respect on her because, look, there's a possibility that this woman might become president. Who knows the future? Y'all can say as much as you want. Trump is going to take it. We thought that last time, and they stole it from us. You know what I'm saying?
has since
Somebody put up to this, man. You could have asked this man anything. Just realize that when we put in this workout, these people, once they get into power, we're going to see some policy changes either way it goes, whether it's for us or against us.
been charged with murder. You've said police
Be careful with how you speak about these people. Be careful what you're putting out there because they age restrict every video I do now.
would get immunity from
No conscience strike me.
prosecution if you win. Why should
Tap screen. Let's get the likes up, everybody.
someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me.
Yeah, okay, black people. Woo! Well, how you don't know that a black woman got shot? A black woman got. What do you mean? I'm dealing with policies and issues and running for. Man, I don't know what's going. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how many people get shot? I'm managing the world. You're managing your YouTube channel and shit that you done seen pop up in front of you. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Without looking on social media, you wouldn't even know that somebody got shot in their head or dragged out of their car. You knew that because they put that in front of your face at this time. Where was you 2 weeks ago when this shit was happening?
Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police. I mean, police unions are not backing this person either. But again, why would?
Isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
But they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I
different
didn't notice
topics
you
now.
do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
Sir,
I have
if you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
to. We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse
You keep on cutting them off.
You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
And that's a fact. Keep trying to target this dude like he's not ready for this shit.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
Don't tell me you ain't see this coming.
He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that
You just keep cutting them off.
do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
and I
campaign
think
position?
I'm speaking.
She just keeps cutting them off. She just keep cutting them off. She don't want to hear nothing. You got to owl me, boo. You just got here. Just chill.
You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
and I
campaign
think
position?
I'm speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases...
Allegedly, they hate families. Seems like that. Because you got to think about it, man. If you want everybody to not procreate, what does that really, like... I don't know.
And you'll see this happening. If I'm not elected, you're going to see it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too.
I
I know
chose him
everybody out
because-
there can, but it's
I'll
hard
tell
to
you
hear.
why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people that were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually, did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We've been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know
so
it is really hard for me to
it's
understand
just
you too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you,
Happy to hear that, sir.
but I can't
Really happy to hear
understand
that.
Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
So,
what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring, you choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris. And that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been, but you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, my point
but at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, Do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But I think it's
they're
about
allowing
freedom,
the
right?
death of a baby after the baby is born, based on
Sir,
the
that's
governor of
illegal in
Virginia.
every state in the country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing
every
the death
state
of
in
the
the country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born. They're
It's a crime.
allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have done.
I set my boy up. Double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody
But the
wanted
majority
it
of
back.
Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They
Multiple
don't know
polls have
about
showed that,
this.
sir.
Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Right.
They turned this into a debate. They wasn't being fair. They rigged this shit. It was, and they moved the goalposts.
Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting. And it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't.
Rigged.
Want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quick to another question?
Harrison, honestly, man.
About, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
Lock them up for what? Look what they want. They want them dead, locked up.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my
me,
goodness.
Facts.
and I'm fine with it because she would.
They act so shocked when he states the obvious.
It was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty. That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
Well,
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president. And I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country. She has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President,
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President,
suggested,
how do you intend to?
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now,
says here, Act Blue paid Megan Thee Stallion.
I'd do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President, are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
To be clear, you don't think Harris?
just
How do you
giving you the
intend?
facts.
And look,
Why you question if he's obviously alert.
Pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to have to pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here. I think he must work.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order.
Yeah.
When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least one officer lost an eye. One had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What?
Let's double tap the stream. Let's get the lights up, man. I'm predicting that he'll be speaking in the next 10 minutes or so. But I'm looking at the crowd now.
What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed
But sir, my
that
question
city?
is on those.
What's going to happen to
my
the people
question is
that
on
tried
those
to burn
rioters
down?
who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
Would
ask,
you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon
innocent,
those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very tough system. They were. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis? How come the people that took over a large percentage of
Diamond, you said Trump is miserable, right? Who do you think is more miserable, him or you? That's not a slap at you. What it is making a point that the American people are miserable, and this is what we're trying to change. People is families. Everybody's miserable right now. I think he's less miserable than the average American.
Seattle. How come nothing happened to them? How come the
But
people
sir, we're
that,
talking about
how
people
come
that
the
were
people-
seen
no,
beating
We're
officers
talking
with
about federal
flagpoles,
buildings.
dragging them down the stairs. They're on
They
video.
try-
Have you seen that
Really?
video,
Oh,
sir?
really? Well, they
you would
shot-
pardon those. You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in
140
Minneapolis.
officers
You know
were
people died in
assaulted that
Minneapolis.
day.
And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in, go in, go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington.
And see, at least we being fair. I'm letting you hear what he's saying as he says it. no cuts. This was live. This whole, you know, and if whether you like it, whether he stumbled or not, at least you get the truth.
Washington, D.C., they were having fistfights and fighting.
They set him up and said Kamala and Trump and Biden was going to be there, and nobody was there, and he still had, you know, the heart to sit down with y'all and give y'all conversation while y'all try to set him up.
With the police, they were
fail in my eyes.
Spraying and destroyed. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before. And it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
Drill, baby, drill.
What do I do? I close the border.
Yeah, get rid of everybody.
And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want people. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do I do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down.
Why do we bring energy down? Because energy is the reason why inflation is messed up.
Inflation way down, so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now, people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car, but...
Is it me or is it those electric cars? And I've been in plenty of them. Except the Teslas really move. They just don't fit. It's, you know, I don't know. Some old school people just like them traditional cars. You want to feel that car when it's wrong. You want to hear it. You want to, you know what I mean? But that's not why he's talking about it.
You know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word.
Yeah, Facebook is banning me right now as we speak. You know, I told you I've been getting age restricted. Double tap the screen, hit the Cash App, $$ MacMean, MacMean. We not monetized right here. I mean, they really just smacked me. I'm looking at it right now. For one of these videos that I posted on YouTube, man, I shared it to Facebook. All right. It says Trump supporter gets roasted for looking like a walrus in the face. Oh, man, when did I post that? Trump supporter gets roasted for looking like a walrus in the face. It says it's hate speech. This goes against our standards on hate speech. We don't allow people to attack a person or a group or people based on who they are portraying them as inferior. Describing someone as physically, morally, or mentally inferior. Wow, I never knew you couldn't do that. I'm always doing that. I didn't know you couldn't refer to somebody as physically, morally, or mentally inferior. So you can't say it, dumbass, dummy, goofy. You can't say none of that, I think. Suggesting that a people or group cause sickness, for example, throwing up. The fuck did I say in this video? I don't know what I did here. View in full. Hate speech. Yeah, they got me for hate speech. I don't know what I did over there. All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank
honor.
you, Mr. President.
That black fist up.
Thank you.
NABJ will email about these.
Yeah, some people say it's a white fist. I call it a black fist. All right. Like I said, double tap the screen. You flag for Trump is in the title. Exactly. That's what they get me for. They doing me bad. Goofy ass Facebook, man. I don't even know what I post over there because I don't personally post it. You see? All right, check it out. This is the rally right here. Let me see. They waiting.
For President Trump in the state here today.
Right.
And being in Pennsylvania, it's going to probably be a little emotional as well because it's his first time back in the state since the Butler experience, if you will. And
About to get packed. I bet he gonna go off too.
we're here for you. Thank you for telling us to continue to fight in this fight and not to give up. Because if he didn't give up on them, they don't want to give up on him.
That's exactly right. And, you know, you mentioned some of the Congress people here today.
Oh, Trump. You on that Trump train type 1. We about to get this shit lit.
From this crowd.
love him
One of the
here.
loudest ones we saw
Dave
among the
McCormick.
speakers, Dave McCormick as well. A few other good ones. So listen.
Many people, even if 1,000 people worked out, you wouldn't even notice. There's no seats in there, player. Her whole stadium was empty.
You have a few MAGA patriots in the Congress, and you have some of them speaking out here.
Rico, salute. Face, salute. You're on that Trump train type 1. D. Elk, salute. Exuberance, salute. Hustle hard. Hustle, man. Salute. Nana, salute. Everybody on that Trump train.
Today who have...
Let me refresh this because I want to keep everything in live time. Like when he got shot, he was on live time. I got to stop saying that a certain group of people make me sick. Because I don't even remember saying that. But I got to keep that.
Our memory to the brave firefighter who was so cruelly taken from us, Corey Comperatore. Corey Comperatore.
All right, we starting. Let's get the lights up. BMW, slow. Hey, slow. Megan, slow. I hear you. I see you. But we'll tell you, you can't plant no fruit tree nowhere. All right, slow.
To the very disturbed guy. Corey is a hero to all of us.
Oh, Lance Keezy in the building, slow.
I want to thank a friend of mine, too. I'm not going to mention his name because he's pretty well known. And he came up to me. He said, would it be okay if I presented Corey's wife and family with a check? And I said, yeah, it would be okay with me. It's certainly okay. And he handed me a check for $1 million. $1 million. Think of that. Thank you, Dan. So he was very generous. In addition, we have a GoFundMe.
You can see your comments, Roseanne.
That's it's really been great. I think we're at $6 million mark for the three of them plus some other people. So, but you know what? Corey's wife said, I'd rather have my husband. Isn't that good? I know a lot of wives that would not say that. I'm sorry. They would not say that. But no, it's a great family. He was a great man. He was a brave man.
I'll check it out.
And he jumped on top and he got hit. But we will carry Corey's spirit of love and devotion and patriotism with us for all time.
Honestly, we don't need another president after him.
Beautiful family. And maybe let's have a
Love filling these shoes after he done.
of silence in memory of Corey, great Pennsylvanian. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Beautiful. Beautiful. That is the most quiet I have ever heard an arena. I have never heard
Serious.
a pin drop. No, it's amazing. It's a beautiful thing. In the wake of this heinous attack, we gather tonight more determined than ever. Our resolve is unbroken and our will is undeterred. Nothing will stop us on our mission to make America great again. Nothing's going to stop us. Our country is doing badly. Front row Joe's over here. Front row Joe's, look at them. They've been to 212 events. You know, I'm pretty sure we have their vote. I'm not sure. You can never be sure of anything. You're voting for Trump. Okay, front row Joes. They love us and we love them. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. But as we're fighting to bring back the American dream for you and your family, the radical left Democrat Party bosses have installed a puppet candidate to fight only for themselves. Kamala Harris got 0 votes. She's totally scripted, owned, and controlled by the donors and the power brokers who created her campaign and who rip off our government and make billions and billions of dollars. They want to call them up and they want to deal with her. And I didn't deal like that. I never dealt like that. I didn't need the money. I said, no, I don't want to do that. I told a lot of guys that I like and some guys that I don't like, but very rich people, I just can't do that. I can't do it. They want to do the telephone systems. They want to do lots of little things like that. We'd like to take over the telephone system of the United States. I'm sorry, I can't do that. But unlike her, I cannot be bought and I cannot be controlled. I have no interest in that. My only loyalty is to you, the people. And you know that. Oh, I could have had such a nice, easy life. I could be at a nice place right now, relaxing, watching the waves break in. But I'd rather be right here in Harrisburg with you. People that built our country. You're the people that built our country. I mean, some people don't like saying that, but you are indeed the people that built the country. We have, no matter where we go, we have the most incredible people. After lying to the country for years about Joe Biden's mental and physical condition, Kamala is now being given a personality makeover. Don't forget, 4 weeks ago, she was like considered the worst. Not smart, terrible, the worst vice president in history. He's the worst president we've ever had. But they were considered terrible. And all of a sudden, she's the new Margaret Thatcher. That happened, right? The great Margaret Thatcher. No, I don't think so. But you're gonna learn little things like defund the police. That doesn't work, does it? Huh? You're gonna learn. Because everything about Kamala Harris rollout, it's phony and it's fake. Did you see when President Obama and Michelle called? Did you see? Hello? Hello? Yes. Yes. Who is this? Oh, this is Michelle and Barack. Oh. So surprised to hear. They got 4 cameras in front. Oh, I'm so surprised. It's on speakerphone. Listen, we just want to congratulate you on destroying Joe Biden. I mean, on winning the... Hey, is Joe Biden gonna... Was that the phoniest phone call you've ever seen? How do you think, Dan? What do you think? Dan Muser, great congressman. What do you think? Was that a phony phone call? You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't get away. In your district, you wouldn't get away with it, would you? But she's a defund the police radical trying to pass herself off as a tough on crime prosecutor. She wasn't tough on crime. She's only tough on guys like me because they want to go after their political opponents.
And inner city black youth.
And he had a similar case, but it was much worse, and he didn't have the Presidential Records Act. He had a similar case, and you know, the special counsel, which is basically special prosecutor, adjudged him to be essentially mentally incompetent, with poor memory, but a nice old guy. He's not old. You know, 81 is not old. I have friends that are 95 that are still. Bernie Marcus, founder of Home Depot, 95 years old, still sharp, still sharp. I spoke to him the other day. I said, I think you're smarter now than you were 30 years ago. I don't know what's going on. I said, what's going on? It's working every 81 is not old. And but he's different. He's a bad 81. He's a bad 81. And he's destroying our country, I'll tell you. And she's worse than he is. She is actually worse than he is because she's a real radical left. He's a phony radical.
Everybody's weird. Relax.
He didn't believe in open borders, and she does. She wants to open your borders. She wants to have all electric cars. She loves the all electric car mandate. She destroyed San Francisco. But she's the architect of the border invasion, trying to pretend she's strong on border security. She's now pretending that she was never called the border czar. She was called the border czar the first day. She's the border czar. And she never went. She actually went, you know, they say, they fact check me. Anything I say is like a little. She actually went to a beautiful part of the border. I would love to take my first lady wife there to have dinner. It's beautiful, very safe. No, she didn't go to the real border, did she, Front Row Joe? She went to a nice little place, was there for a short period of time and left. So she's never really been to the border, and she's the border czar, and our country's being invaded with people from prisons and people from mental institutions and terrorists. She's a failed vice president leading a failed administration while trying to convince you that she represents hope and change. Well, she does represent change.
Let's get the lights up. Double tap the screen. I'm going to his channel right quick because I'm getting that from right side. I want to get a full screen. There you go, live.
Because his administration is considered brilliant by comparison. In her speech, Kamala Harris even outbrand a new Southern accent. Did you hear a new accent? If I ever did that, all of those people back there, look at them, look at all those cameras. Oh, when I go through hell, I'd have a week of hell if I ever tried to do that. The contrast could not be more stark. On the one hand, you have a radical left puppet candidate who is fake. And on the other hand, you have a president who will fight for America.
Double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up.
This is a hell of a big arena. How many seats? This looks like Madison Square Garden. This is a big, beautiful place. Wow. I didn't care. Although they'd prefer that we be in an arena. I don't know why. But we're not giving up the outdoor rallies. You know, all those people that we had to turn away today at an outdoor rally, we had 107,000 people show up in New Jersey. 107,000. But you know, in the South Bronx, we had 25,000 people. It was like a love fest. South Bronx, tough place, but it was a lot of love. No matter how much Kamala Harris tries to change her image, she cannot change this fact. She is the most extreme liberal candidate in the history of our country by far. She's an extreme radical left lunatic. And you know, I've been saying for the last 6 months, I've been saying about politicians, because I really know politicians. Well, I've dealt with them on both sides. And, you know, then I said, let's do this, you know, thank you. But when a politician comes out early on with an idea like she wants to defund the police and all these other things she wants to do, really bad things, That's where they're at. They're going to be there eventually, right? Mike Kelly, stand up, Mike, will you please? This guy, he used to stand up. He's my friend. He endorsed me on day one, right? Day one. Day one. He endorsed me before I was running. He said, that guy's got to run. I endorsed him. I didn't even run. How many endorsements do I have? Well, you got Kelly of Pennsylvania. I wasn't running. Anyway, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. He would stand out at those outdoor rallies when it was 10 degrees below zero and it was 97 degrees out without a shirt on. It's not that pretty a sight. Not that pretty, but he had no fear. He's a tough guy and they love him. They love you in this state. Kamala Harris co-sponsored Bernie Sanders' $32 trillion socialist takeover of the entire U.S. health care system. Think of this, U.S. health care, it would mean that we're gonna have to raise your taxes, bankrupt our country, and she supported outlawing all of the private health insurance. A lot of people in this room have some people want private health. Some of it's incredible. You go to these companies, they're doing an incredible job. They want to be able to, she wants that banned and she wants that outlawed. You can't buy that anymore. You're paying for it, but it's great stuff. I mean, some of the companies have unbelievable, the golden plans and all that. And she wants it to be ended. She pledged to give free taxpayer-funded health care to all illegal aliens. Think of that. Oh, and she'll do that, which will totally destroy our social security system. She sponsored a bill to give illegal aliens taxpayer-funded lawyers so they could sue us. And she called for abolishing ICE. These are unbelievable patriots, by the way. They're almost as tough as our congressman sitting in the front. They're almost as tough as the man that's going to be your next governor, by the way. He's tough, too. He's tough. He's a great military hero. And he'll come up. I'm allowed to have him up for a little while, right? Just a couple of minutes, right? He's great. He's great. And I hear you doing very well. But you get ready. You get ready. You got to knock them dead. She compared ICE agents to members of the KKK. She likened Border Patrol agents to practitioners of human slavery. We have a lot of those great people here tonight, like Brandon Judd, the head of the union, Paul. We have so many different people. And they didn't like that analogy too much. She voted in favor of deadly sanctuary cities numerous times. She supports open borders. That's all you'd have to hear. I think 2 words. You know, they say, sure, go down a list. We have a list of 25 things. All you really have to say is 2 things. Open borders, defund the police. The rest is all, but, you know, although she is going to kill Social Security, because by putting all of these illegal aliens into Social Security, it's dead. It's dead. She opposes even saying the words illegal alien and radical Islamic terrorists. She backs mass amnesty, and citizenship for all illegals. She supports mandatory gun confiscation. Would anybody mind, Mr. Congressman, would they mind having their guns ripped out of their arms as they enter their house or their apartment? I don't think so. I don't think. She said that 70 to 80% tax rate is, quote, a very bold idea, something that we have to discuss very seriously. She likes it. And you know, all my life I watched politicians and they've always said, we will reduce your taxes, we will reduce your taxes, we will cut your taxes. They want to give you a tax increase of 5 times what you're paying now. How the hell do you get elected? This country is so screwed up. Everything's backwards. We want open border, we want taxing. How do you like to be a politician? We want open borders, we want tax increases, we want all electric cars so that you can go 15 minutes before you charge it up. And for all the congressmen that are here, in the Midwest, they built 8 charging stations. Now, you know what that is? That's like a gas pump with electricity coming out, just a charging terminal. It cost $9 billion. Did you hear that, Mike? Did you hear that? Scott, oh, he's another tough. We got tough congressmen here. These are tough cookies, these Pennsylvania guys. Wow, look at that. We're going to introduce them in a second. Scott. So they spent $9 billion on 8 charging stations, 2 of which never worked. I don't think any of them worked. She wants government intervention to slash consumption of red meat. They don't want red meat. That means they don't want your cows. Get rid of your cows. Would anybody like to keep red meat? Raise your hand. You know, think of it. Borders and electric mandate and all the things. Red meat. Oh, how the hell do you get elected, right? You know how they got elected? By cheating. They get elected by cheating. Because they want to raise your taxes by 5 times. Oh, please vote for me. I'm going to raise your taxes 5 times higher. But the red meat is to fight climate change, okay? Climate change. She supports ending cash bail to immediately release criminals upon arrest. They kill somebody, no bail, don't worry about it, no cash. You just killed 3 people, no. Let's let them out in Harrisburg. It's a wonderful place. And in 2020, she personally urged her followers to donate money to bail out the violent rioters, get them right out of jail, including murderers. You know what that was all about, right? In Minnesota, which I think we have a good chance of winning. Hasn't been won since 1972 by a Republican. And we're leading. Tom Emmer's going to bring that one home, they tell me. He's going to bring it home. This November, the American people are going to reject Kamala Harris's dangerous liberal extremism in a massive landslide. We're going to, too big to rig, right? Too big to rig. Too big to rig. We're not going to let her turn the United States into a communist San Francisco colony. We're not going to let it happen. That's what they want to do. They want to destroy our country. She's the worst. She was a bad DA long before you had your DA, long before you had some of these DAs that you have, as you know, in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, but in Los Angeles, all over the place, all over the place. You have bad DAs. You have radical left, horrible DAs that are funded by Soros and others, and they're weak. They're just weak on crime. They don't mind if somebody murders somebody. They don't want them to go to jail. You can kill somebody now. Our country is sick. The mindset of our country is sick. And we're not going to let her do to Pennsylvania what she did to California. She destroyed San Francisco, one of the best cities in the world, and it's in tatters. So she's a liberal from California. She ruined the state. She ruined one of the greatest cities in the world. You know, 15 years ago, a great friend of mine, Bob Tisch, great guy, who's an owner of the New York Giants and a very smart guy, wonderful guy too. Maybe even longer, a little longer than 50. He said San Francisco is the best city in our country. And today it's a disaster, just a disaster. He passed away quite a while ago, and he would look down and say, what the hell happened to that city? But he thought San Francisco was one of the greatest. He thought you.
Man, these comments are savage. Said Harris.
July 4th weekend had 117 shootings and 17 people died. Think of it. This is not even believable. When you hear about Afghanistan and the horrible job that this president did with Afghanistan, a low point, but they don't have anything like that. In one of the most astoundingly phony moments in her speech last night, Kamala Harris bragged that, quote, I will proudly put my record against Donald Trump's any day of the week. I will put it against Donald Trump. This got one of the worst records in anywhere. Well, Kamala, let's go. Challenge accepted. Are you ready? Let's compare our record point by point.
Word, send it back to India.
I can't believe I'm doing it. You know, the weird thing. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was talking about Biden. I didn't even know her name. Nobody did. Kamala. Hello. Beautiful. I didn't even know her name. Kamala. I heard she was a rotten border czar. That's about all I knew about her. Her only job was the border, and she never went there. But 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was all about Biden. Then I kept hearing they were going to steal it from him, and I said, you know, it's hard to do because I understand when you have the delegates. He had all the delegates. He had 100% of the delegates. He had 14 million votes. I said, you can't really do it. But then they threatened him very strongly. They said, you're incompetent, and we're going to get you out. He just won, you know. No, if they happen to be right, he was incompetent, but these are minor details. No, he just won. He had all the votes. And he could have said no, but he was afraid. And he's an angry man right now. Here's the big question I have. Will he be invited to the Democrat National Convention? Will he be invited, Mr. Congressman? I don't know. Now he will because I'm mentioning it. If I didn't mention it, he would not be invited. But now they...
Hood, I hope you're feeling better, man. Salute you, bro.
But you know what's crazy? The craziest thing? So you don't mind if I go off teleprompter all the time. It's such a shame. I have these great speechwriters. They really are. Ross and Vince, they're great. They're the best speechwriters. And I hardly speak about this. I could read the most gorgeous speech, but you may be bored to tears. No, they're beautiful. The words are beautiful. Everything's great. The sun will rise. The moon will set. The oceans will glisten.
That's why y'all better wake up.
Harrisburg wants to hear that stuff. What do you think, Congressman? What do you think, Doctor?
You can't trust nobody reading off a teleprompter all day.
But I tend to go off about 75% of the time. But you know, the hard part is that 3-4 weeks ago, I was talking about Biden. He's incompetent. He's a horrible president. He's the worst president in the history of the country. Now I say she's the worst vice president, which is true. She's considered the worst. She's the most unpopular vice president in the history of the country. She did a transformation. You know, the press is very corrupt. You know that. They gave her a transformation like Houdini. That was a Houdini-like, that was a magic trick.
Facts.
But don't worry, she's going to fall because it's not about him or her. It's about the policies. They're the same and they're horrible, right? But they gave her, so, you know, it's sort of like, I don't know if anybody watch UFC as an example. Do you watch it, right? Dana White, the great Dana White. Did you see him? He introduced me the other day at our convention. We had the greatest convention in the history of politics, in my opinion.
Man, y'all liberals are some mean son of a bitch.
The arena was beautiful. It was an unbelievable. But Dana White introduced me, and he heads up UFC. He's done an incredible job. But it's almost like you're having a fight between two guys, and one guy is getting beat up bad. Then he goes to a debate, right? The debate didn't
look like it went fine to me, Vicky.
work out for him. I don't think so. Good, Scott. The debate didn't work out exactly good. Then he tried to recover from the debate by going out every day, and it got worse and worse. It was a basic disaster. But it's like having two fighters, and the one guy's getting beat up really badly, and they say, all right, stop the fight. Come on out. I'll put a new one in. That's what we have here. Kamala is the new fighter. Who cares? Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. You know that because you didn't have people sleeping on your lawn all night. We ended catch and release. We stopped asylum, fraud, coal. We got remain in Mexico. Remember that one? You think that was easy to get? I call up the president of Mexico, a friend of mine. He's a socialist, but still he was a friend of mine. He gave us many, many thousands of troops to guard our border while we were building the wall. I built hundreds of miles of wall, and then they didn't want to finish it up, which could have taken place very quickly. But think of it. But, you know, we got remain, think of it, remain in Mexico. That means you can't come into our country. You have to remain in Mexico until you get approved, of which very few people got approved. You think that was easy? That wasn't easy.
If you were on that Trump train, type 1.
Central American nations built 571 miles. Think of that, a border wall. We're going to add another 200, far more than I said I was going to build. And it was working. It was working. It was good. We had the best illegal immigration non-flow, I call it. They were having a hard time. Also, drugs were way down. Human trafficking was way down. It's human trafficking in women mostly. You know, it sounds ancient, human trafficking. It sounds like something from 1,000 years ago, but it's as big a business in a sense as the drug business. And the reason is because of the internet. The internet made human trafficking a very, very big and horrible business. They traffic in women. They put them in the trunk of a car. They put them in the back seat and they close it up and you can't even breathe.
I agree. We do anything, but until you get here, we'll take Trump.
Knocked it down cold, and now it's at a level 5 times greater than it ever was before. Nobody's there to check. Nobody's to look at the car. Nobody knows who's there, who's in it. But you can see it on a certain chart that I have. You know, this chart saved my life. Where is that chart? I love that chart. I'm going to sleep with that chart for the rest of my life, that chart. That chart. You know, the amazing thing, you know, the people that operate the computers and all the brilliant equipment we have backstage, she said to me, she's great, she's great. She should come out. Just tell her to come out here for a second. Quick, 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 quick. You got to get her out. She's never done this before. She saved my life, in a sense. I said, you saved my life. Here she is. Wow. Wow.
Hi.
The coolest motherfucker on the planet.
No, she's a computer genius.
Hit him with a licked her face.
She saved.
Or humped a leg.
No. So, you know, the story is open, but that chart, I only used it probably less than 20% of the time. So in other words, we do the rallies and stuff. Sometimes I'll pull it down, sometimes I won't, because I do things a little bit at random while I'm up here. Hello, look at a big fella back there. But I do things a little bit at random. But two things about the chart. It's always on my left, which means I'm gone. It's always on my left. If it was on my left, I have Mr. Governor, Mr. Future Governor. I have no chance because it would have been perfect hit. And it's only used a little bit. And I always use it at the end of a speech. I never used it early. In fact, she was saying today, we were really sort of flabbergasted because you called for it at the very beginning of your speech. And that chart, I'm so proud of it. Now I like it much more than I liked it before. But see the arrow on the bottom? That's the lowest level of illegal immigration in the history of our country recorded. And that was the last week of my presidency, Mike. So that was the last week. And look what happened to our country after that. And those are now a little bit old.
I'm never going to forget how y'all wanted him dead. That's crazy. And then I'm never going to forget how y'all said that this was staged. I mean, like, I lost so many so-called friends and family dealing with politics, and I love it. It's the most refreshing thing that's ever happened to me. I feel like God sent Trump. I feel like God said, you know what? Let me bring Trump to the picture. You want to know why? Because only God could make somebody stand that'll make people so mad and upset and hateful that they'll cut off their own fucking family based off of their political view. Funny thing is that all the Democrats that I know in my family that's doing bad, I mean, everybody that's doing bad is a Democrat. All the Republicans are A-OK. They out the way. They building software. Like my uncles is building, they up in St. Martin right now, fucking developing gaming software. You know what I mean? Republicans. And it wasn't always that way because when I first started talking to shit, one of my twin uncles, I used to go through it with him. But only God could make this happen. Only God could break somebody around that'll make people so mad where they'll show you they fucking slithery they what they call that? They two-sided tongue or whatever. Like a snake, you know what I'm saying? People come at me and disrespect me and all that, man. Like dog me out because I said I like Trump. Crazy.
She said, you know, the amazing thing is you always call for the chart at the end of the speech, not the beginning.
My bad. Let me bring it up.
Where that very beautiful woman in the white is, right? Stand up. He actually said might be less than that, because some people can't sink a 2-foot putt, like Biden. I would say Biden. Biden can't sink. But that's like sinking. Did anybody see the Bryson DeChambeau thing? Did you? That was cool. We had a good time. He's a great guy, great young athlete. So all these things, and you know, then you figure, what are the odds that happened, right? Where you're literally exactly there. You hadn't made the full turn. But that chart will always be my world's most favorite chart for a lot of reasons. Number one is that day in Butler, Pennsylvania. And number two is, look at those numbers. That was the lowest number of illegal aliens that we've ever had. So it really was a very important, that was a very important thing. It was done by Border Patrol. Now let's examine the record of border czar Harris. She inherited the strongest border in U.S. history and immediately turned it into the worst border nightmare in the history of the world. There's no country in the world that's ever had a border like this. I think the real number is 20 million people, maybe more. Nobody knows. You know, you have a thing called gotaways. We have millions of gotaways, meaning people that weren't caught, they got away. Upon taking office, Harris and Biden stopped wall construction, halted all deportations, protected sanctuary cities, ended remain in Mexico and our asylum cooperation agreements, which are very important, and allowed a gigantic
overnight. Y'all remember that?
Bringing in millions of illegal aliens at levels never seen before. Now, actually, other than that, I thought she's doing a very good job, right? She's done a wonderful job. She's the worst ever. And she's going to be your president. She will destroy our country. This November, the American people are going to compare these records, and they're going to tell Border Czar Harris, you have done a horrible job. You're a disgrace to our country. You're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get out. Get the hell out of here.
That one.
But Kamala is protected by the fake news. They're trying to delete everything she said. Hey, did you ever see the Unselect Committee? The Unselect Committee on January 6th, did you see where they went and deleted and destroyed all evidence? It was deleted and destroyed. So I think, Dan, you and all of my friends here, they should be indicted for that. They destroyed evidence. You know why? Because the evidence showed that we were innocent. The evidence showed that Nancy Pelosi should have had protection at the Capitol that I offered her, and they turned it down. The evidence showed that all these stories were fake, including me wanting to grab a big, strong Secret Service agent around the neck. Think of this. Think of this. I'm in a car. I say, fellas, I'd love to go down to the Capitol. Sir, we don't think it's good because, you know, you're very exposed there. It's all that's okay. I said, you don't think we could? No. So I said, all right, where do you want to go? They'll go back to the White House. That's the experience. This one person had me getting extremely upset. I don't get upset. When somebody smart says, sir, you're probably better. And nothing was happening. Just people were walking down. Remember, patriotically, right? Right? Right. So they had me coming from the back of the car. Now, these guys are very strong. They're young and strong. Not as strong as me, but they're strong. And I grabbed the one guy driving, and he's got arms like this. I grabbed him, and I was rebuffed. And then I went over to the right, and I think he's like a world champion karate guy, right? Like a very tough cookie. Bobby. His name's Bobby. That's all I know, but I know him well. He's a good guy. And I grabbed him around the neck. And I began to twist and turn. And he was in tremendous pain because of the power of Trump. Tremendous pain. And then I went back to the White House, and I started throwing hamburgers at the wall. This is the story of this person. So they went to the Secret Service. They found out it was all bullshit. everything. All made up. It was just made up. Which most people, I mean, honestly, most people would think that. You know, think of me grabbing these two strong, tough guys. That's what they do. The one guy said, you know, if somebody ever put their arms around me, he's trained automatically to go with his fingers like that. You know, just what he's trained. I like other things better personally. I'd like to run the country better. That's what I'd like to do, you know. So they're good with the finger. They're good with their fingers into the eye. The fingers into the eye, and you have a tendency to immediately let go and get a towel and start crying because it hurts. They say, oh, that hurts. No, it was all made up stuff, you know. It was all made up stuff. But wouldn't you think it is? I mean, who would believe Trump was so angry he grabbed the one guy who was rebuffed? Then he grabbed the other one around the neck. These people are sick. Who would believe it? But probably some people do, even if it's 5 people. But no, but some people would believe it. You know, they hear it. They deleted everything because the stories turned out to be false. They deleted everything. Nancy Pelosi turned down 10,000 troops or National Guard. If we had 500, you wouldn't have had a problem. And what you never see is the crowd. The crowd was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And a small portion walked peacefully and patriotically down to the Capitol. You remember the term? Peacefully and patriotically. He's horrible. It's insurrection. You know, if you have an insurrection, you don't say peacefully and patriotically, right, Mike? You say, let's go. No, these are really bad people. These are crooked people. And then her daughter, you saw that about a month ago, her daughter taped her saying that it was her fault the day, their daughter is a cinematographer. I'm sure Nancy's thrilled. They just released the tape where Nancy is saying, this is my fault. This is during the thing because she didn't accept my offer. She said, this is my fault. I could have stopped this. Now she's trying to say, well, she didn't really mean that. No, these are bad people. They're trying to delete everything that she said over the last, think of it, this is on Kamala, it's no different. Over the last 10 years, that's controversial or bad. It's like defund the police, the fact that she was given authority over the border, that, you know, they're trying to say that under no circumstances was she even in charge of the border. And the fake news is trying to delete everything. Are you seeing what's going on? They're trying to delete everything. But, you know, it's a wonderful, the internet is wonderful in certain ways. We have every single copy of every article, but they're trying to delete it. Under crazy Kamala's policies, you know, when I got hit, everybody thought I was going to be a nice guy. And they thought I changed. Remember, just before the Republican convention. And nobody thought I'd be there. You know, it's not great to be there when your ear is slightly throbbing. Let's go to the convention, darling, to the First Lady. Let's go. But I got there. Next day I left, right? And it was the greatest convention. And it was like a convention like no other. It was a convention that we were all so proud of. But they all said, Trump is going to be a nice man now. He came close to death. And I really agreed with that for about 8 hours or so. And then I realized they were trying to put me in prison for doing absolutely nothing wrong. They went to judges who are crooked judges. They went to judges who are fake. They had prosecutors who are Democrat radical lefts, and always in areas where it's like 3% Republican or less. And I said, you know, these are bad people. So I was nice for about, what would you say, Dan, 3, 4, 5 hours? And then I said, these are bad people. We have to win this battle. And you know what? They're going to become nicer when we win. But we're going to have to win, I believe, to make them reasonable because they are crazy. They are crazy. Under Kamala's policies, criminals, rapists, and vicious gang members are pouring in from South America, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, from prisons, from jails, from insane asylum. You know, an insane asylum is a step above, right? This is, oh, they go crazy. when they want to try and say, he's cognitively impaired. You know, I stand up here for 2 hours and I speak without a mistake. But when I say Hannibal Lecter, they say, why does he keep mentioning it? Because Hannibal Lecter was a serious psycho, right? He was Silence of the Lambs. Dr. Hannibal Lecter, he'd like to have you for dinner. See the man with the wall? Stand up. Look at this guy. He's here so much. He's great. He's great. He's a Trump voter. I don't think we have to worry about him, do we? He's a Trump voter all the way. But Hannibal Lecter would like to have you for dinner. But these people are now in our country, and they always, you know, actually it's quite clever, I think, but, you know, what do you do? But they're always saying, like, he mentions Hannibal Lecter. It doesn't make sense. So it makes a lot of sense. They're coming into our country, and they're coming in from insane asylums, which are closing all over the world. It's not just South America, because we have the worst people representing our country. They laugh at the stupidity of these people all over the world. They're coming from the Congo in Africa, 22 prisoners right out of prisons from the Congo in Africa, not just South America. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up. How about where they say our crime rate's going down? We just had 117 people shot. You could take just Chicago and the whole nation's crime rate. Look, these are bad people. They're phony people. They're liars. They cheat on elections. They do a lot of bad things. And we have to win this election because crime statistics are a disaster. They're made up by people that work in the White House. And obviously the crime is getting worse because we have probably 20 million people in our country right now. And every single day you read about one of these horrible monsters from parts unknown who raped a young girl, killed her, cut them up, uses knives, not guns, because it's a slower death. These are monsters, and we have them in our country, and we're going to deport them at a level like nobody's ever seen. We're going to get them the hell out of our country. They're going back to the country from which they came. Because we have become a dumping ground for the world, and we're not going to take it anymore. We're going to get rid of these liberal lunatics like Kamala. Just yesterday, it was reported that more than 1,000 members of the savage Venezuelan gang, Trendy Arguay, are plotting to conduct ambush attacks on police and law enforcement in the United States. All the while, Harris and Biden sit in the White House and try and figure out who's dumber. They sit in the White House. Think of it. Massive, massive numbers of Venezuelan gang members. Now, Venezuela is very smart. They sent them into our country. And then you read that crime is down 72% in Venezuela, which it is. On Sunday, in a separate incident, a Venezuelan illegal alien criminal let in the border by our border czar, Harris, shot a female police officer in Texas. You read about it. Multiple times with a rifle. Thankfully, the officer is perhaps going to survive. They don't know yet, but probably. But most victims are not so lucky. In Texas last month, 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari was tied up, sexually assaulted, and strangled to death by two illegal aliens who Biden and Harris released into the United States. If Border Czar Harris stays in charge, every single week will bring never-ending streams of illegal alien rapists, bloodthirsty killers, and child predators to go after our sons and our daughters and our wives and our husbands. They're letting horrible people into our country. They're poisoning our country. By contrast, if I am elected on day one, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. And we will immediately deport all of the criminals that Border Czar Harris has allowed to enter our country. They'll be deported. But no comparison of our immigration records would be complete without considering the terrorists that this crazy border czar of ours is letting into America. By the way, can anybody imagine her as, in all fairness, we want to be politically correct and all that, great, who cares? Can anybody imagine her dealing with President Xi of China, who's a fierce individual, fierce person? You know, she was sent to deal with Putin to keep him from invading Ukraine, which, by the way, he would have never done if I were president. Israel wouldn't have been attacked. He would not have attacked Ukraine. The recent hits on Israel wouldn't have taken place. We wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had that horrible disaster in Afghanistan. None of these things would have happened, would be respected again. Now we're laughed at. All over the world, they're laughing at us. When I was president, terror watch list encounters at the border reached 1 year, and I don't believe it. It was done by Border Patrol and ICE. They have 1 year where it was zero. They said, and I don't even believe that myself, but you know what? I'll take it. Because the charts are usually the other way. Zero. And then after, and it was part of that we just looked at, but we had zero terrorists reported coming in 2019, I believe the year was 2019. Zero. So let's say it was 10 or 20. Now it's thousands of people coming in. I never believed the zero, but I'll tell you, we'll take it. But assuming it was 10, 15, 20, thousands and thousands of terrorists are pouring into our country. Under Kamala Harris, thousands of terrorists have been let right in. And according to news reports, the Biden-Harris administration has absolutely no idea who they are or where the hell they come from. Just come on into our country. But you're going to be finding this out. You're going to have to be, you're going to have a migrant crime statistic that's going to rival anything that we've ever had. And the only thing good about these people, they're very tough people. They come out of those jails and those prisons and those mental institutions. The only thing that is really good about them is they make our criminals look like very nice people. It's true. Our criminals that we used to fear, we don't fear anymore, doctor. They're like nice people compared to the people that are coming into our country. No candidate who would knowingly keep the border open as terrorists pour across it can ever be trusted to be commander in chief. Can't let it happen. If she becomes your president,
double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up real quick, people.
Biden, I think worse than Biden, and he's gone. He's shot. But if she becomes your president, our country is finished. I'll tell you. In Pennsylvania, your beautiful Commonwealth. It's always good when you remember it's a Commonwealth. He would call it a state often. Remember when Biden I used to love this guy because you were on pins and needles watching him speak. You know, when's he going to blow it? And it would always happen. Remember, he'd finished the speech and he couldn't find the stair. Go. And then these handsome men would run up and grab him and help him. And every time I imitate it, the First Lady tells me, why do you keep doing that? Because they keep saying you can't find the stairs off the podium. You know, you've only got about 9 stairways off the podium. But unlike Kamala Harris, I will keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We're going to keep them out. We're going to be safe. We're going to have a safe place. Fact is, 4 years ago, we were respected like never before. I would say like never before. We were respected by China, by Iran. Look at Iran. Iran is going wild now, aren't they? You know, Iran was broke when I was president. They didn't have money to give to Hamas. They didn't have money to give to Hezbollah. You see what's going on now with Hezbollah now. You're going to end up in a world war. You're going to end up in a third world war pretty soon with this guy. Between Ukraine and Russia and the stupidity with I will get that negotiated and ended before I ever take office. I'll do it after the election as president-elect. In addition to her atrocious record on border security, Kamala Harris would also obliterate Pennsylvania's economy. You know about that. She's against fracking. She's against oil drilling. She wants everybody to have one electric car and share it with the neighbors. Harris has stated repeatedly that she supports, quote, banning fracking. I ban fracking. I will ban it on my first day. Now she's denying it. Remember, a politician always goes back to what their original thought was, right? And she co-sponsored the $100 trillion Green New scam designed to abolish the oil, coal, and natural gas industries entirely. We have more liquid gold under our feet than Saudi Arabia, than Russia by far. And under me, we took it from 4th place and 3rd place. We took it to 1st place by a lot. We were energy independent, soon to be energy dominant. We were going to make so much money. We were going to pay off debt and reduce your taxes still further. Now, you can't do anything with these lunatics. Under a Harris presidency, 423,000 Pennsylvania jobs are linked to fracking. They'd all be demolished. She's against fracking. She's not going to allow you to frack. She's not going to allow you to frack. And the only reason they're allowing it now, you know, they cut it way back. That's what caused the inflation. And then he opened it up again back to the Trump days. He opened it up to the same because it's similar, because he wanted to try and get reelected. They didn't know his party was going to overthrow him. It was a coup. This was a coup of a president. He will be famous. He will be more famous for the coup than the bad job he's done, okay? But this was a coup of the president of the United States. This was like a South American, you know, you read about South America every week they have a coup. And they also do the attacks on political opponents, by the way. Your economy would take a $41 billion hit. This is Pennsylvania. Cutting billions of dollars from your state and local budgets, slashing funding for your schools and police forces, and plunging Pennsylvania into severe economic depression. Enjoy it. Look, if they get in, your state is screwed. Your state is, you guys are screwed. Good luck, everybody. Have fun in Congress, Mike. But I will never let that happen. But you don't need to take my word for it alone. Kamala's anti-American energy crusade. Let's just listen to her. Now, she's a totally, oh, no, I love fracking. Let's just see what her video says. She had it taped just a little while ago. Let's go.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Okay? If I said that, nobody would believe it. So, and that's where she is. She's a radical left person who destroyed San Francisco, and she'll destroy the country just like she did California and San Francisco. She was the leader of that pack that destroyed San Francisco. It's not only Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, he's another beauty. Oh, we're doing great in the state. Everyone's leaving. We're doing great. The state's doing wonderfully. They do have wonderful weather, and it's a beautiful place, but it's overridden with crime. He's doing such a terrible job. He's a con man. You know, I watched him in the great Sean Hannity show, and he was saying like, no, the state's never done better, never done. It's all fake. It's all lies. The state is a disaster. They're moving to Texas, Florida, Tennessee. They're moving to a lot of North Carolina, South Carolina. When we win this November, we will end the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will end their terrible war on fracking. Fracking is incredible. The money you make in Pennsylvania, you could quadruple your taxes. If you lost that industry, you could quadruple your taxes. The policy of the Trump administration will be to drill, baby, drill. Right? Right? I will also terminate the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day one and save the U.S. auto industry from destruction. We are going to
says here on the poll, 68% of the people says stallions should be horrible. Should Megan Thee Stallion be twerking on stage at a presidential rally? 32% of the people said
to have that. They don't want to stop every 15 minutes. They refuse to stop. You know, I have a friend of mine got an electric car, and he was used to driving from Kentucky, great state, to Washington. And he'd drive and, you know, he'd drive it. That'll be it. Now he's driving it. He had to stop 6 times. He said, what the hell is going on? He thought it was good for the environment. It's not good for, you know, he's a idealistic kind of guy. I think I'm going to do something good for the environment. He got rid of that thing so fast, your head would spin. And it's great if you want to go to the candy store and back, then you plug it in your garage. It's no wonder the Democrat Party and their thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. The only ones. You know, this is a movement, Make America Great Again. This is Remember when Biden would get up, we will stop MAGA. He had no idea. I said, Joe, do you know what it means? No, not really.
They come in the chat and disrespect Republicans. Same person talking about Black Lives Matter, man. If my Black Lives Matter, why are you dogging me out?
Persecution is only happening because I am running for president and leading big in the polls. Oh, if I wasn't, I wouldn't have any of these lawsuits. Oh, they wouldn't be suing me because I'm breaking their ass also. They wouldn't be suing me. And they're doing this because I'm running and I'm leading by a lot. We're leading by a lot in this state, by the way, in this Commonwealth. We're leading by a lot in our Commonwealth. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. We're not going to allow it to happen.
That boy.
And every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. Thank you very much. Because I'm being indicted for you. Did you like my mugshot? Did you like the mugshot? Lovely. My father's looking down, my mother and father, they're looking down because they're definitely in heaven. They made heaven. They're great. They're looking down. They said, I can't believe my son took a mugshot. This is unbelievable.
Here's it in here. We looked up. If you would have looked at that convention he was at earlier, you would have clearly seen.
But did you know that? Frank Sinatra had a big one. Did you know he got arrested for something? And I think Elvis had a fight at a gas station or something. But Elvis was one, Frank Sinatra was two, and I'm proud to admit, and I'm proud to tell you that you have made mine bigger than both of them by a lot. It's the biggest selling mugshot ever. And I still haven't figured out whether or not I'm happy about it. I'm not sure. In one way, I'm thrilled. In another way, I'm not sure I like it. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom, which is true. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they are not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will continue to stand in their way. I will always be here. I'll be here. I don't know. I'm getting tired of protecting you, but I love it. We're going to protect you. We're going to go. And soon you won't need protection because soon you're going to have a great country again. It's true. You won't need protection. The country will protect you. But think of it. I say this I got indicted more than Al Capone, the great Al Capone. Can you imagine? Al Capone, Scarface, the meanest man you've ever met. I have him beat. But we're pleased to be joined today by some fantastic Pennsylvania patriots, friends of mine, incredible people, starting with the next U.S. Senator from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, David McCormick. He's incredible. Come up. David, come up here. Come. He's a military hero. And honestly, you know, your senator, I don't think I ever met him in 4 years. Nobody knows who he is. It's the weirdest thing. It's almost like, how do they keep getting elected? You got to elect this guy. He's a war hero. He's a national hero. He's a brilliant man. He went out, he made a fortune and all that stuff. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. It means he's smart, right? Do we agree? It means he's smart. You guys didn't make that much, but you're very smart anyway. But David has been a friend of mine. He's an incredible man and respected all over the place. And you know, you have one chance to get a guy like this in. A lot of people, after watching my experience, they're not doing this anymore, are they? So I'd like to introduce Dave McCormick, a great guy. Hopefully he's going to be your next senator. You're going to win, and you're going to win big, David.
Thank you. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you so much, all of you. And listen, in Pennsylvania, we know, Mr. President, this is the most important election of our lifetime. We know it. And we also know that this is ground zero, which is going to put you back in the White House and a majority in the Senate. Right here, sir. Right here in Pennsylvania. And I want
You don't know something weird? You never heard nobody that said, I love Joe Biden. You never heard nobody say that, ever. Don't it sound weird? Imagine a 20-year-old girl saying, I love Joe Biden. You would think that she's weird or something's wrong with her, but to hear them say they love Trump ain't surprising, and they hate that.
Casey, and I say Casey because he votes 98% of the time, that destroys our economy, open borders, the fentanyl crisis, crime, the war on fossil fuels, but it only gets worse. It only gets worse under Harris, Casey. It only gets worse. And that is why we need strong leadership, common sense leadership. And when I go on the campaign trail, Mr. President, the thing I hear that people want most is strength. And I tell them, listen, I'm a combat veteran. I'm an Army wrestler. And when I was standing there in Butler and saw those bullets flying, and I've seen people get shot at before, and you came up and put that fist in the air and said, fight, fight, fight. I said to everybody, that's strength. That's what we need for America. That's why we're going to win on November 5th. God bless this Commonwealth.
Wow. That's great. You know, David, it is true. David was in Butler, and he was sitting exactly there. And you know, Corey was sitting right behind him. Can you imagine? Corey was killed. He was sitting right behind David. And David didn't flinch. He didn't move. I mean, some people moved. Actually, I think it was really known that when bullets are fired in a stadium, everyone really gets moving fast. They call it a stampede. Nobody moved. You looked at the people behind me, right? Everyone's seen those people. Those people have become legendary. That was just a small group. The main tens of thousands of people around here, you couldn't even see the end. Nobody ran. Nobody moved. They knew I was in trouble. They said, he's in trouble. If you went to a soccer stadium where you'll have a bullet go off, one bullet, the whole place runs for the exits. Nobody ran. And how about the man behind me with the black outfit and the green floppy hat? He's like this. David, did you see him? He's looking, right? Where? Get up here. Is that him? Yeah,
that is dope.
Wow.
That's so fire. He
That's
different.
great, huh?
This dude is different.
Well, you're good. You can be in a foxhole with me anytime, man.
This is different.
Thank you. That's great. That was a hell of a day, huh? But there were a number of them back there that were just brave. Everybody. There was nobody that fled. I think nobody fled, right? There were brave people, and they were looking, and they were pointing. They saw it. They were pointing. It was incredible. And one of these crowd control people that came in afterwards said they've never seen it where bullets are fired. And I'll tell you something. David was standing and sitting right, literally, the bullets were going over your head. They were going over my head, too, the second group. But you weren't a flincher either, were you? You weren't. And Corey, right alongside of you, right behind him. And you got to vote for this man. He's a hero, and he's a great gentleman. He'll be a great senator. And it's time for a change. Time for a change. I mean that. A vote for Dave McCormick is a vote to seal our border, stop migrant crime, defeat inflation, bring down prices, and defend Pennsylvania energy. You have to defend your energy. They will not allow fracking. If they got in, her first move will be to end fracking all throughout the United States. Dave is running against truly not a good member. I don't like to be disrespectful. He's been there a long time, but Bob Casey is a stiff. He's a stiff. Nobody knows who the hell he is. I don't think I've ever gone to a meeting where he's been in the meeting, Mike. Mike has been in the meeting. Dan has been in the meeting. Scott is at too many meetings, right? No, I don't think I've ever been to a meeting where Casey's even been there. And I've been to a lot of meetings with a lot of senators, but you know, he just sort of goes along year after year. His father was there, he's there. We want to have a great warrior. Dave, good luck. Good luck. Thank you, Dave. Vote for him. We're pleased to be joined today by some really fantastic people, some, I would say, truly great.
Nobody twerking at this shit.
The Congress people, just stand up, right? Just stand up. Scott Perry, Mike Kelly, G.T. Thompson, G.T., hi. Dan Muser, Lord Smucker. These are unbelievable warriors. These are great fighters. And if you can add David, it's going to be an unbeatable combination. Pennsylvania Treasurer, thank you very much, fellas. You've done a great job. You've done a great job. Pennsylvania Treasurer Stacey Garrity.
Terrible.
Lancaster County Commissioner Josh Parsons. Great job, Josh. Jim Worthington, he's a fantastic man. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Nice to see you. And two people that are amazing, very talented, very incredible people. One is a spokesman for the lawyer, by the way, but a great spokesman, truly committed to make America great, and me, but truly committed to make America great, which is more important than me, more important. I mean, it's just something special. She has been an incredible person going around and letting people know.
He was running out of words. Now you ran out of words.
Haba. Alina, stand up, Alina. I didn't know she was going to be here today. And another person, one of the most talented writers, a person who truly has the pulse of this area, Pennsylvania, and the Rust Belt in general. The Rust Belt is her territory. Nobody covers it better. Selena Zito. Selena, where are you, Selena? Where are you? Thank you. She's a great writer. We're also joined by Tiffany Hall, a single mother of four from Columbia, Pennsylvania, who wants to tell us firsthand what the Biden-Harris inflation nightmare has.
Why do they always say he's not talking about policy while he's talking about policy? You don't think the border is a policy? You don't think everything that he's talking about is policy and what he plans on doing? So, yeah.
This is happening all over.
Weird as fuck. You know, I told him he's not speaking about policy while he's talking policy. This is fucking weird. Believe you, motherfuckers.
Thank you very much. So
he's not addressing policy. You know, I see what y'all saying, but what are you talking about? I don't understand that, man. That's why I annoy y'all sometimes. Like, what the hell are you talking about? That makes absolutely no sense. He's addressing policy.
the question now.
But you want him to address your policy? Come on, let me know what your question is so we can see if he addressed it already. I bet he did.
Then I've not been able to. I can't put them into sports. I can't go on extravagant vacations anymore. We can go to free parks.
That's not policy. That's gibberish. So you calling twerking on stage and yelling and bringing Quavo on stage? You call that policy? I mean, you know what? Let's not even deflect from what you're saying. You saying that he's not speaking about policy. Well, I'm clearly telling you that the border policy is policy. The border conversation is policy. He's telling you what he's going to do with it. What else do you want? Oh, crazy, man. Which policies? Y'all keep saying, no, he's not addressing this policies. Which policy? Which policy are you talking about?
And not have to put something back or say, nope, we can't do a nice cake from the bakery. We have to try and do one from.
Come on, let me know your policies. Come on, let's go. I'm waiting for y'all. Draco, salute. Cadillac, salute. What policies? They think slogans are policy. That's Kamala all day, slogan after slogan. No policy. Exactly. What is his specific policy on the border then? Which part of the policy? You know, he said he wants to continue building the wall. Say he wants to do a mass deportation and other things. You want me to list anything else when he says in specific to the context of the policy? Because it's pretty clear. Send them all back.
She did better. Starting on day one of the Trump administration, we will end inflation and we will make America great again. We will deliver regulation cuts, energy.
They want to know how, when, what. Okay, well, let the man talk.
Drive prices down, and we'll drive them down very fast. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips. To protect Pennsylvania jobs, I will revoke China's most favored nation trade status. I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act.
Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, excuse me. Go look it up. I'm pretty sure there's something written about it.
We will make them pay a reciprocal tariff or tax of 100 or 200%.
Policy.
Right back. You heard us and we heard.
Tariffs on China. Policy. What he tells you why he wants to place the tax on the tariffs on them, and he tells you why and when.
I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and I am the only one that can say it. I know all the players, and they respect us.
He's the only one that has a track record of sitting down with all these leaders and having a good outcome.
Heading to World War III, and you see it.
Sir.
Me, and they used to respect our country, but no longer. I will prevent World War III. That's where we're heading. We're heading to World War III, and you see it.
Yeah, it ain't about keep believing. Who you warning? Start blocking these people, y'all. Time these people out, man. Who are you warning? You're not warning me. Keep waiting for the policies. I'm old. I'm probably older than you. I've seen what happened during over these years, over these last half a century. All right.
Middle Eastern ally, Israel.
I know what's good for me. This dude was already president. You talking about Kamala's going to save something? What could she save? You don't even know what she did in the last 4 years. What did she do in the last 4 years? Tell me that, y'all.
Politicized the moment to grandstand, making a show of refusing to attend. You know where she was?
That's
She went
spamming
to
my
a
chat.
sorority party. Can you believe it? Even though it was her duty as president of the Senate to be there, it was her duty to be there. Her Democrat allies fell in line. Chuck Schumer refused to shake the Israeli prime minister's hand. Chuck Schumer has become a Palestinian. Yes, can you believe it? He's become a proud member of Hamas. Nancy Pelosi likewise denounced the speech in shameful terms. You know, 15 years ago, Israel had the strongest, most powerful lobby in this country. Now it's almost the opposite, with AOC +3 and all the people, the enemies of our country in a true sense. But they are, and the enemies, when they saw all these people abandon Israel, they took note. And I don't think it's accidental that just 4 days after Harris and Biden repudiated our Israeli allies, Iran's top terrorist group, Hezbollah, fired an Iranian missile to kill 12 innocent children at a soccer field in northern Israel. Happened right after he left. With great embarrassment, he left. The terrorists did it because they assumed they could get away with it because the United States is weak and ineffective and no longer respected. We are no longer respected. We are a failing nation. I mean, it's horrible. You don't want to say it. I wish I didn't have to say it. I wish I could say they're doing a phenomenal job. I wouldn't run. I wouldn't have to run. I would be very happy to have somebody do a phenomenal job. I wouldn't have to run. And I'd be very happy with that. I'd be proud of our country. But right now, our country is a joke. It's being laughed at all over the world.
Thank you.
The truth is, Harris and Biden's weakness is inviting every rogue enemy worldwide to absolutely get away with murder. In my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like has never been seen before. And it will be entirely made.
Salute Keith Fisher for the Cash App. Stacy Galore, thank y'all both.
Of it. And I will cut, remember this, I will cut all of the bad talk about Social Security. They're going to destroy your Social Security, but I will not cut 1 cent from Social Security or Medicare. And I kept my promise for 4 years that I will keep it again. And seniors should not pay taxes on Social Security. And they won't. They won't. There are the people. It's up to you. No tax on Social Security. By contrast, Kamala cast a tie-breaking vote to cut Medicare. You saw this? By $237 billion in a heartless betrayal of American seniors. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., clean it up, renovate it, fix it, rebuild it. We will again have the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world, and there will be no crime allowed. Very strong. Right now, you go there, you get mugged, you get shot. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And I will keep men out of women's sports. How simple is that? I will fully uphold our Second Amendment, as I did for 4 years. We just got the backing of the NRA, complete and total endorsement from the NRA. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech to our country again. And very importantly, I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, voter ID. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. A lot of other countries are doing it. The mail-in voting isn't working. It's corrupt.
Double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up, y'all.
Must win. We want to have a landslide because the best way to protect against the rigging, and these people know it, is too big to rig. There's a level at which they can't cheat. So if you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care when you vote, but whatever you do, you have to vote, and make sure your ballot counts. Because these people cheat. They cheat like dogs. And if you want to help us ensure election integrity, sign up at protectthevote.com. Protectthevote.com. And in conclusion, from Easton to Hershey, from Jamestown to Allentown, and from Pittsburgh to right here in beautiful Harrisburg. Love Harrisburg. We got a lot of votes in Harrisburg. We stand on the shoulders of American legends who poured out their blood, sweat, and tears for our rights and for our freedom. Pennsylvania is where our founding fathers declared America independence. Think of that. Think of the history that this great place is. Beautiful Pennsylvania. Think of the history that you have. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter at Valley Forge, where General George Washington would never taken his name off any buildings they'd like to. When they want to take Washington, Lincoln, and Jefferson off, it ain't going to happen. But it will happen under her. George Washington led his men on a daring mission across the Delaware, and where the Union was saved by the immortal heroes at Gettysburg. Gettysburg, wow. Gettysburg. And this is the state where generations of tough, strong Pennsylvania miners and steelworkers forged the greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in serious decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, lost its willpower, and lost its strength. We are a nation that has lost, quite simply, its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. Soon be. With our leadership, every disaster Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have created can be fixed and be quick, very quickly. We're going to do it so quickly. Remember, I used to tell the story, we're going to win, 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 right? We're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning. We're going to win. We're going to start winning. Please, please, Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're going to win, win, win. Every problem.
Yeah, multi-billionaire. They said he got about $6.5 million. I'm billion.
Here, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Inflation will be a full thing of the past. It will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past, and our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of our country. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. Make America wealthy again. Make America strong again. Make America proud again. Make America safe again. Make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, y'all already know what it is. I'm here to get a couple people mad now. Charleston White. Before we get out of here, let me show y'all this. Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. He gonna ask him, man, what you doing up here with that Trump hat?
Why you wore that Trump hat in here?
I'm a diehard Trump supporter. In my household, you got Martin Luther King, you got Jesus, and you got Donald Trump.
Wait a minute.
Not in that particular order, but yeah, you got Martin Luther King, Jesus, and Donald Trump.
Why you got Donald Trump? You know, well, I'm a straight Democrat, but I'm for the best person.
Yes,
but
sir.
now, why you got Donald Trump?
Because I paid attention in school when I was a kid, and so I know the true history of both the Republican and Democratic Party. I know that they really didn't switch during the Nixon Southern strategy. That one became more clever than the other in dealing with black people. We the Democrats, we got away. We were the Republicans' friends. We was their friends, but we were the Democrats. When you look at the origins of the Ku Klux Klan, it originated out of the Democratic Party.
The Ku Klux Klan.
It did. Okay. Every civil rights legislation that ever has been passed in this country was authored, written, sponsored, and voted on.
Wow, Republican. Or we the only ones that ever helped black people. Historically, they've never been known to help us.
Every civil rights legislation that ever has been passed in this country was authored, written, sponsored, and voted on 100% by Republicans and not Democrats. Every civil rights legislation.
Well, what you gonna do?
So let me finish about Trump.
Right.
So as a kid, I remember being 6, 7 years old and seeing Donald Trump receiving an award with Muhammad Ali, Rosa Parks from the NAACP. Not only that, he engaged and interacted in our culture from the 80s throughout the 90s and even the 2000s, from rappers to Michael Jackson. So when we looked out into our culture, his face appeared many, many times. So for me to grow up now and then
rest in peace to Mike Jack, man.
And hear the media, because before the media started saying he was racist, I never heard a black leader say it. I never heard my grandmother say it. I never heard no one even mention anything bad about him other than rappers giving him praise in over 300 to 600 rap songs.
Facts.
So for the media to say, oh, he's racist, I knew they were playing con on us. And I can remember when America was great. I can remember when black children could play outside all day long, and you didn't hear about kids being kidnapped. You didn't hear
facts.
Word,
Come
word.
on now. Got to give Charleston White a hand clap on that. Have to. Facts. I mean, come on now. The whole narrative around Trump didn't change until he became president or became a serious threat to become president, right? Mm-hmm. Before that, everybody loved Trump. As Charleston White says, he was in hundreds of rap songs. I checked out a video compilation of rap songs that he was in. So you mean all of a sudden, once he runs for president, now he's racist? Come on now. All of a sudden, you know, when he's hanging out with all these black folks, the Michael Jacksons, the Mike Tysons, the Jesse Jacksons. As a matter of fact, I think he donated to just.
I mean, listen, Andre, right? Andre, that's what it's designed to do. We say not trying to do all that. I mean, I think that a lot of that shit, that the interpretation of it and some of the straight out writing, I'm 100% against the shit. But
Jesse Jackson's presidential campaign at one point, receiving an award.
It's scary, yeah.
He housed the black homeless woman for years and never talked about it, never bragged about it, never said a word. She came out and made a video and talked about it. Not Trump. For all of my Democrat brothers and sisters on the other side of the aisle that may be watching this video, let me ask you one question. When is the last time you have seen Joe Biden hanging out with a black person that wasn't a politician? I'll wait. Doesn't exist. Come on now. Jim Crow Joe, the guy that was giving the eulogy at a K member's funeral? Really? That Joe Biden? But Trump is racist, right? You mean a Joe Biden that called black kids roaches? That Joe Biden? But Trump is racist, right? Come on. You gotta be kidding. You mean the Joe Biden that told all black people, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black? You mean that white guy, Joe? That Jim Crow Joe? But Trump is racist, right? You mean the Joe Biden that said, you know, I can keep going with these. Matter of fact, you know what? You mean the Joe Biden that called Barack Obama the first clean black man, whatever. I don't remember the exact quote, but he basically said the first clean black male. Like, you mean that Joe Biden? But Trump is racist, right? That is hilarious. And I can keep going. That's the crazy part about it. Like, I can specifically name multiple instances, as I just did, to prove it, right? And I have more, right? I can keep going. You mean the Joe Biden that called LL Cool J, well, first off, messed up his name, and then called him boy on stage? You mean that Joe Biden? But Trump is racist, right? and right. And I say that because, one, if Trump had said, for example, if Trump had said any of this stuff, it'd be the end of the world. But for example, we'll just take the most recent one. When Joe Biden called LL Cool J boy, if Trump had said that, the media would have gone into a frenzy. Oh, Trump, his racist tendencies have reared their ugly head. Oh my goodness, look at what Trump. Did the media even talk about Joe Biden calling him boy? Did they? I'm just asking. You know, it's crazy how this stuff works, man, and it's gotten absolutely ridiculous, and so it's so blatant. I'm partially happy that it's happening.
Now hear me though. Anyway, I just wanted to show y'all the rally. Dude is spitting straight facts. Trump is America's savior. You just might be right, sir. You might be right. I don't see nobody else. I mean, like, I only see them fucking the country up. I don't see nothing else. You know? Anyway, I'm about to get up out of here, man. Always great having y'all with me, you know, but I got some things to do, man. Plus, I got to go talk to I got things to do. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel. Double tap the screen on the way out the doubt.